Your biological, same parent older sister, desperately wants to make babies with you daily. She does whatever it takes to pounce on you. And if you dare refuse, expect a beating of love. She will even stage a full capture mission. But the root of all this madness all leads back to that phone call from your dad. You were chilling in your dorm eating instant ramen, when out of nowhere, your dad called. The second you answered, he said in a dead serious voice, "Son, truth is, I married a sugar mama years ago. I hid it so you would focus on school. But now, the truth is out. You are actually filthy rich." You froze right then and there. Did your dad finally lose his mind? Before you could ask more, he cut in and kept talking. "Right now, your new stepsister is already on her way to get you. Pack your things and get ready for your new life." Before you can even ask anything, the line goes dead. Before you can even process this, a heavy knocking echoes from the door. You scramble to throw on your shoes, highly confused as you pull it open. The door slowly swings open, and your eyes widen in shock. Standing there is a jaw-droppingly beautiful face. She radiates a cold, elegant aura. Sujinya sees you staring blankly at her, grabs your hand without a word, and pulls you downstairs, saying, "Let's go. We shouldn't keep Uncle Lou and my mom waiting." Her voice is cool, yet incredibly sweet. It takes getting into the car to snap you back. Looking at the gorgeous girl quietly studying you, you can't help but ask, "Are you Aunt Kin's daughter, the one my dad mentioned?" Hearing how you address her, Sujinya frowns instantly. She immediately corrects you, "My name is Sujinya. From today on, I'm your older sister. You'll have to call me sis from now on. Got it, little bro?" You size her up from head to toe. You don't reply. Right now, you just want to find your dad, and demand to know what on earth is going on. The Panamera makes a few turns through the city streets, finally pulling up in front of a luxury hotel, with the hotel manager personally greeting you both. You and Sujinya walk into a gorgeous private suite. You take a seat at the round table, looking across at the woman who looks barely 40, whose pale skin still glows flawlessly and chin. You can't help but speak up. "What on earth do you actually see in my dad?" The moment the words leave your mouth, your dad, sitting nearby in designer clothes, has his face instantly darken. "What are you saying, Ziping? This is your Aunt Chin. What's your manners? Understand?" You roll your eyes, "Dad, don't flatter yourself. I wasn't even talking to you. I'm talking to this lady here." Your dad looks furious. If others weren't here, you'd definitely be getting a beating right now. Your mom passed away before you were even born, so it was always just you and your dad, making you to feel more like brothers. Hearing what you said, Aunt Chin bursts out laughing, clearly amused. Her beautiful eyes lock onto you. As she smiles, "You're exactly how your dad described you. Such an interesting kid. From now on, you and Jingjing are siblings. You two must get along well. Your dad says you just graduated and don't have a job yet. Jingjing is the general manager at Yangshao Group, so she can get you a job there tomorrow." Sujinya turns her gaze toward you, a playful smirk dancing on her lips. "Of course, no problem. You think so too, right? My dear little brother." Your mouth twitches. Yangshao Group is a massive, famous corporation around here. Just like that, you've somehow ended up as a wealthy heir. You couldn't make this up if you tried. Once you finished your dinner, your dad and Chin Wanru wanted you and Sujinya to spend time together, so they shoved a villa key into your hand, and made a quick excuse to slip away. 3 minutes later, inside the luxury private room, you couldn't take it anymore. Sujinya kept staring, so you leaned closer to her, and carefully asked this beautiful older sister, "Have we met before? Why do you keep staring at my face?" Hearing you call her big sister, a satisfied smile spread across Jujinya's face. She pulled out her phone, opened a chat history, and slid it across the table. With a playful smirk, she said, "I'm just curious. When you were arguing with me online, weren't you acting like a tough guy? Why are you such a coward in real life?" You sat there, completely frozen, having no idea what she was talking about. Instinctively, you glanced down at the chat history. What you saw nearly scared you to death. Back in college, besides working part-time jobs, you were also an online novel writer, churning out light novels to make some extra cash. 3 years ago, you met someone online, who went by the username Queen Yunjin Wan. She was always leaving comments, asking why you wrote such heartbreaking plots. You wanted to block her countless times, but she actually gave you some great inspiration. Plus, she always pointed out your story's weak spots perfectly. But even so, you still thought she had a screw loose. For every roast she threw, you shot back 10. This love-hate relationship dragged on for 2.5 years. Maybe all that bickering actually sparked some real feelings. Because 2 weeks ago, she suddenly confessed her love to you. But you didn't believe in online romance, and rejected her flat out. And now, the woman you traded insults with for 3 years, had somehow ended up becoming your older sister. Seeing that the realization had finally hit you, Sujinya stood up with a smirk. She reaches out, gently ruffling your hair. With a teasing smirk, she says, "Hey, little bro, didn't you say you were gonna crush me earlier? Why are you so quiet now?" So, how do you think I should punish you? A sudden chill runs right down your spine, just thinking about having to live with her. If you wimp out now, your future is ruined. With that in mind, you muster your courage to show some real backbone. But the second you try to stand up, Sujinye seems to read your mind instantly. With a blank face, she places a hand on your shoulder. She shoves you right back down before you can even move. My dear little brother, I forgot to mention, I got bored once and earned a black belt in Taekwondo. Oh, and I also took self-defense classes from a master. You let out an awkward cough. Hey, sis, I was totally joking earlier. Please don't take this little brother's teasing to heart. Seeing how fast you completely changed your tune, Sujinye can barely keep from laughing. But since it's only your first day meeting, she decides she should probably hold back a little. She doesn't want to break her little brother just yet. Come on, let me show you your new home. And we need to get you some clothes. You can't go to the office looking this shabby. You reluctantly trail along behind her. Not long after stepping out of the hotel, Sujinye leads you into a high-end designer shop. She generously buys you several brand new outfits, compared to your old, cheap street clothes. This is a massive, high-end upgrade. You look like a completely different person. Once you both get into the car, Sujinye hands you a black card. Here, little bro. This is some pocket money from your big sister. If it's not enough, just ask me for more. You take one look, chuckle, and shake your head. Sorry, but my teeth are way too strong. I'm not cut out to be a kept man. And I don't accept charity, so you can keep this for yourself. Oh really? My mom was worried you'd need cash right after graduating, so she had me bring you 1 million as a welcome gift. But it looks like I worried for nothing. Your heart is already set on that million. You reach out for it, but Sujinye suddenly pulls her hand back. Feeling playful, she decides to tease you. Hey, little bro, didn't you just say you wouldn't accept charity? A real man is supposed to keep his word. How can you back out now? Seeing that 1 million slip away, you panic and try to snatch it. Come on, big sis, I was just being polite. Just give me the card already. And just like that, the two of you start wrestling for it. Hearing the commotion, the driver glances up at the rearview mirror, seeing Sujinye laughing so happily. He is completely shocked. The president he knows in the backseat never smiles like this. What kind of magic does this guy actually have to actually make the ice-cold president act like this? After a chaotic struggle in the backseat, you finally snatch the black towel from Sujinye's hands, a triumphant grin spreading across your face. But after a brief flash of joy, you realize something is off. You are still pinning Sujinye down. Your bodies pressed almost completely together. Having never been this close to a girl before, you instantly blush, especially when you accidentally brush against her soft skin. Your heart suddenly starts racing. Just as you try to scramble away, Sujinye reaches out and wraps her arms around your waist. Leaning close to your ear, she whispers, hey, little brother, your reaction right now is so cute. Could it be that you have some naughty thoughts about me? You swallow hard and quickly pull away from her. Awkwardly turning your head to stare out the window, you stammer, whose thoughts about you? Half an hour later, you all arrive at the luxurious Modu Hayating villa. Sujinye changes into a white nightgown, lounging on the couch. Long, pale legs are crossed. The TV is playing the latest anime. You just hung up the phone. You glance over at the screen. Did you fast forward while I was on the phone, you ask. How is it already almost over? What do you know? Double speed is the absolute best way to watch. Are you kidding me? Is double speed even meant for humans? Hand over the remote right now. Not happening. Little bro, I am your older sister, remember. Boys are supposed to let girls win, got it? Before long, the living room erupts into a noisy scuffle. With anyone else, you would have let it slide. But against this arch-rival you have bickered with for 3 years, you are absolutely not backing down. Early the next morning, a beam of warm sunlight filters through the curtains onto your face. You instinctively raise your hand to block the glare. Groggy and confused, you open your eyes to an unfamiliar ceiling. You bolt upright in bed. You look around. After a long moment, you give yourself a sharp slap. The sting confirms that everything from yesterday was not a dream. Yawning, you make your way over to the wardrobe. You grab a formal suit and quickly change into it. Today, you have an interview at the Yangshao Group, but you have absolutely no intention of actually working under that toxic woman, Sujinye. This interview is just a show for you. You plan to bomb it on purpose to get rejected. Stepping outside the villa, the driver opens the back door of the Rolls-Royce and bows. Young master, President Su asked me to drive you to the office. Please, step inside. Meanwhile, in the penthouse general manager's office at the Yangshao Group, Sujinye places your photo right on the center of her desk. In a calm voice, she says, we have interviews today. Go handle them. The person in this photo is my worthless, good-for-nothing little brother. No matter what he says, hire him on the spot. Secretary Joe, a corporate veteran of many years, stands nearby. She instantly understands exactly what President Su wants. Picking up the photo, she smiled. I understand what needs to be done. If that is all, President Su, I will excuse myself. After the secretary left, Su Jingya looked down at her work, a smirk playing on her lips. Brat, did you honestly think I didn't know what you were plotting? Trying to escape your big sister's grasp? Not in this lifetime. Soon, it was time for the interviews. The conference room was completely packed with people. Secretary Jo sat in the center seat, looking around. Her gaze swept across the crowd. One by one, people handed in resumes and began their introductions. It was a mix of top Ivy Leagues and prestigious domestic universities. A few interviewers looked over the resumes and nodded in approval. We're going to land some great talent this year. Secretary Jo's expression didn't change at all. Her fingers continuously tapped against the table. It seemed like she was waiting for someone. Finally, everyone had finished their introductions. With only you left, a male interviewer looked at you, puzzled. Where is your resume? You smugly replied, I don't have that kind of thing. Bro never brings a resume to an interview. After saying that, a rush of pure satisfaction washed over you. You hadn't been this cocky in a long time. If they don't reject you, it would defy the laws of nature. Just as a female interviewer frowned, getting ready to scold you, Secretary Jo suddenly burst into applause. Great. Fantastic. True geniuses always think outside the box. And they do things in their own unique way. At our conglomerate, what we lack is high-end talent exactly like you. You stood there completely dumbfounded. The other candidates were so shocked they couldn't believe their own ears. Not bringing a resume is considered genius thinking now. The other interviewers were all sharp as tacks. Witnessing Secretary Jo's attitude, they all caught on instantly. They quickly clapped along in agreement. This sudden flood of flattery left you completely dazed. Honestly, you had no idea you were this brilliant until now. Half an hour later, inside the general manager's office, Su Jingya was deeply focused on reviewing some documents. Suddenly, her office door was pushed open. You burst into the room, your face flushed with rage. Su Jingya, you set me up. That Secretary Jo was definitely put there by you. Am I right? Are you really that desperate to make my life miserable? Interrupted, Su Jingya slowly looks up from her desk. A cold, icy chill flashes through her eyes. An intense pressure radiates from her entire presence. In a cold, commanding tone that leaves absolutely no room for argument, she speaks. Call me sister. Her sharp gaze makes you feel guilty inside. You weakly mumble, sister. Su Jingya finally nods, looking thoroughly pleased. She stands up from behind her massive desk, walking slowly toward you in her clicking high heels. She reaches out and gently pats your head, whispering, I would never make things hard for you. Your big sister has got you covered. You roll your eyes. Got me covered. More like teasing me to death. At 11 a.m., you sit at your desk lazily playing Spider Solitaire on your computer. Your coworkers look on with absolute envy. After all, Secretary Jo personally brought you in as a special connection. Even if the department manager walked by, they would just pretend not to see. Suddenly, your phone screen lights up on the desk. A message pops up. We have a dinner meeting tonight. Come with me after work. Reading this, you raise an eyebrow in defiance. A smirk of pure arrogance spreads across your face. You lock the screen and toss the phone casually aside. You think I will just go because you say so. Who do you think I am, your little puppy? Noticing the female coworker next to you stealing a glance, you turn around and strike up a casual, flirty conversation. Meanwhile, inside the general manager's office, Su Jingya watches the security feed on her monitor, grinding her teeth in fury. That annoying little brat. Ignoring my messages is bad enough, but flirting with other girls right under my nose. Just wait until 5, I will teach you a lesson. Finally, 5 p.m. arrives, the workday is officially over. You bolt from your desk like an arrow shot from a bow, running straight into the elevator with an excited grin. But the moment you step out onto the ground floor lobby, you freeze, staring right at the one person you wanted to avoid. You spin around, ready to sneak away, but a sharp voice stops you cold. Get back here. You freeze right in your tracks. You turn back with a miserable face. Hey, big sister, what a coincidence. Do you also like slipping out right on the dot? Su Jingya steps right up to you, resting her hand gently on your head. Smiling playfully, she asks if you enjoy slacking off and flirting with female coworkers, and not even replying to my messages. So tell me, how exactly do you want to die? Before you can even argue, Su Jingya drags you straight to a luxury hotel. You originally thought you were having dinner with Aunt Chin, but as you step into the private dining room, you find a completely strange middle-aged man sitting there instead. He is wearing gold-rimmed glasses, and shares a 30% resemblance to Su Jingya. Xing Xing, you are finally here. Come, sit down. It has been so long. You did not even think to call your dad. Seeing Su Jingya, Su Hongyuan smiles. A tiny smile cracks across his stern face. As for you, standing right beside her, he does not even bother to look your way. Su Jingya pulls you down to sit directly opposite her father. She whispers quietly, "This is my dad." You keep a perfectly straight face, but on the inside, you are utterly shocked. Thanks to your freeloading, gold-digging old man, you already know a few secrets about the Su family. But why on earth did Su Jingyo bring you to meet him? After quietly eavesdropping on them for a short while, you finally understand why Su Jingyo's parents got a divorce. Her father chose his career and personal gain, leaving her and her mother behind to move overseas. Now he is back, wanting to take Su Jingyo abroad. 10 minutes later, realizing it is completely hopeless, So Hong Yuan sighs heavily. He gets up and slowly walks out of the room. Once her father leaves, you wonder if you should comfort Su Jingyo. But with teary red eyes, she suddenly lunges at you, burying her head in your chest as she starts sobbing. And in that moment, you realize exactly why she brought you. Just for moments like this, to have someone to confide in. Stripping away her cold exterior, you finally realize how fragile she is inside. So fragile that a few words from her father can easily trigger a total breakdown. But you have no idea how much Su Jingyo relies on you. 3 years ago, Su Jingyo was nowhere near this cheerful. She was trapped in the pain of her parents' divorce. Until, by chance, she found the light novel you wrote. The fictional world you built was beautiful, and so was the love in it. She yearned for what you described. A love that could heal everything. Pure and absolute. A quiet night passed. Weekend morning. Su Jingyo woke to the familiar ceiling, feeling a bit dazed. Memories of last night flooded back. It seemed you had carried her sleeping self back home. At that thought, she quickly sat up, looking down at her clothes. Disappointment filled her eyes. For the first time, she doubted her own charm, wondering more and more if you were just a total blockhead. Once the disappointment faded, Su Jingyo got up to change. She was always strict with herself, working even on the weekends. By the time you woke up, it was already 12 p.m. After washing up, you sat on the couch scrolling through videos. Time flew, and soon it was 4 p.m. Just then, your buddy Gu FDI called. Hey, Chen, where are you? The class reunion is tonight. You didn't forget, did you? You slapped your forehead. Too much had happened lately. You completely forgot. Luckily, there was still time. I'm on my way. Hanging up, you went to your room to quickly pack up. You grabbed the Maserati keys off the table and headed out. About half an hour later, outside a rundown residential area, Gu FBI, his head wrapped in bandages, looked like a curious toddler, touching and feeling everything inside the car. Holy crap, you really made it big. You're even driving a Maserati now. You noticed the bandages on his head, and couldn't help asking what happened to him. Who beat you up? At the mention of his injury, Gu FBI began to sigh and groan, as if recalling a painful memory. Ever since you sent me that message about your dad's situation, I made a trip back home, but no matter how much I asked, my dad refused to tell me how he hooked up with a rich woman. In the end, my mom overheard us, and the two of them chased me down 8 blocks. You silently gave him a big thumbs up in response. Meanwhile, inside the luxury mansion of Hayating Villa, Su Jingyo, who had rushed back after finishing her work, wanted to tease you to recharge her batteries. Instead, she only found a complete mess on the coffee table. She pulled up the living room security footage, and found the recording of you heading out this afternoon. A tiny, involuntary smile played on her lips. Grabbing her keys, she walked out. You little brat, going out to a party without even telling your big sister. Just wait, I'm going to give you a massive surprise. Meanwhile, inside a private room at the hotel, the dining table was loaded with gourmet dishes, filling the air with mouth-watering aromas, making everyone's appetite run wild. Just as everyone was about to dig in, the door of the private room swung open. Sorry, everyone. Traffic was a nightmare, so I'm a bit late. A man wearing a designer suit and holding a bouquet of roses walked into the room, wearing glasses. He had a smug smile plastered on his face, casually pretending to show off the luxury watch on his wrist. Beside you, Gu FBI whispered, you see that guy? His family just got over $5 million in demolition compensation. He was flexing in our class group chat just the other day, posting a dozen times on social media just to flex. Unbelievably pretentious. As they chatted, Fan Ziming walked in clutching a bouquet of roses, heading straight for the campus beauty, Yi Qingxiao. His gaze was sincere. He smiled with pure devotion and said, Qingxiao, I bought these specifically for you. The most gorgeous roses imaginable, to match the most beautiful person in my heart. Slick, greasy pickup lines rolled right off his tongue, giving the rest of our classmates instant goosebumps. A second later, Yi Qingxiao accepted the roses from Fan Ziming, a sweet smile lighting up her pale face. Then, he glanced over in your direction, wearing the smug grin of a victor. His eyes dripped with pure mockery. Everyone in the room knew the truth. You spent 3 years chasing Yi Qingxiao in college, but she only ever strung you along. Now, she was accepting roses from another guy. If they were in your shoes, they would be devastated. But they had no idea. The moment she rejected your confession back in college, you completely let go of any illusions about her. You quietly sighed, ready to stand up and leave. Suddenly, a familiar laugh echoed from outside the room. Wow, so lively in here. Are you all Xiaoping's classmates? Hello, everyone. Mind if one more joins? Everyone turned toward the voice, their eyes widening in shock. Why are you here? You suddenly bolted upright, staring at Su Jingyao as she walked inside. As everyone stood there frozen, Su Jingyao gently linked her arm with yours, scanning the room with a warm gaze. Her eyes lingered on Yi Qingxiao for 2 extra seconds, before she smiled and offered a graceful introduction. I am Xia Peng's older sister. Thank you all so much for taking care of him. Take care of me, my foot. Let me go already. You absolute female predator. Your face turns bright red. You never expected Su Jingyao to be so bold. You try to pull back, but she holds you tight. Watching your interactions go way past friendly. Someone stammers, are you two really siblings? Because it feels more like. Hearing this, the smile on Su Jinyao's face grows wider. She calmly chuckles. Maybe because I have a major brother complex. After all, with a little brother this cute, who could possibly resist? The room erupts. They stare at you with total envy. Yi Qing's face turns incredibly dark. Before things get any more awkward, you drag Su Jingyao out of the room. It is a quiet, misty night. Your blue Maserati glides down the empty streets. As you drive, while Su Jingyao admires the night from the passenger seat, she was never one to waste time, just staring out at the scenery. But for some reason, being with you makes the most pointless things feel meaningful. After a few minutes, you ask, I've always wondered, why are you always so good to me? Su Jingyao pulls her gaze from the window, staring straight at you as she replies, maybe because the moon is so beautiful tonight. You roll your eyes in disbelief. Fine, keep your secrets then, but don't make up such ridiculous excuses. It's literally foggy tonight. There's no moon. That clueless response shatters Su Jingyao's romantic hopes. Her bright smile instantly turns into a scowl. She glares and snaps, you annoying brat. You totally deserve to be single. How do you ever expect to get a girlfriend? Any woman who falls for you must be blind. The next day, while slacking off at work, you get an unknown call. A commanding male voice speaks from the other end. I'm Su Jingyao's father, Su Hongyuan. I need to talk to you. Tonight at 8. I didn't even let him finish. You casually hang up the phone, pursing your lips, as if I'd go just because you asked. He's out of his mind. You toss the phone aside and keep scrolling. The girls on Douyin have your full attention. At that very moment, inside the chairman's office of Shanghai's Chunmao Group, Su Hongyuan stares at the deadline, his face darkening. After a long pause, he dials another number. Find a chance to bring that kid, Lu Chen, to me. Make sure Jingjing doesn't find out. The call ends. Su Hongyuan stands up and walks to the French windows. He gazes down at the sprawling city below. With a heavy sigh, he whispers, Jingjing, why can't you just understand? Dad, everything I do is to push you onto a bigger, much grander stage. Only with me will your potential truly skyrocket. Night falls quickly over the city. Shanghai's bustling streets are once again shrouded in darkness. Right now, a Porsche slowly glides into the Chongming Villa estate. You're sitting in the passenger seat, staring out at the massive luxury villas around you. You marvel, these places must cost a fortune, right? Rich people really know how to live. It's not that much. About 100 million. Su Jingyao replies flatly from behind the wheel. Soon, the car pulls up before a European-style estate. Hearing the commotion, Lu Zhengluo pushes the door open, smiling warmly. You're finally here, come on in. Lanlun is personally cooking for us tonight. You don't get to taste her food very often. Hearing that her own mother is cooking, Su Jingyao's expression turns slightly uneasy. She gives Lu Zhengluo a long, meaningful look. He looks back at her with the same intensity. They share a silent, knowing look without saying a word. Stepping inside the villa. In the kitchen, Chen Wanru is still busy prepping a feast. Su Jingyao leads you up to a room on the second floor. She says flatly, this room was prepared just for you. With that, she swings the door open. It is not the luxurious, spacious suite you expected. Inside, there is nothing but a single bare bed. Not even a blanket in sight. It is as bare bones as a room can get. Even you, who can sleep anywhere, feel a wave of disappointment. This is actually worse than my old rental place. A subtle smirk plays on Su Jingyao's lips. She leans in from behind, right next to your ear. Her body is pressed almost completely against yours, feeling that soft, warm heat radiating against your back. Your eyes fly open and your entire body tenses up. Su Jingyao's sultry voice whispers, what is wrong? Did you want to share a bedroom with your big sister? If you are not afraid of being eaten alive, I suppose we could make that work. Her words make your face instantly flush red. Your mind traitorously starts to wander. Vivid, forbidden scenes flash through your head. You quickly shake your head. Hey, I am warning you. We are supposed to be siblings, remember. Could you please watch what you say? Amused by your flustered reaction, Su Jingyao lets out a soft laugh. She turns and starts heading back downstairs, without looking back. My room is right next door. There should be extra blankets in my closet. Go grab one to make your bed. If you freeze and catch a cold, I will be heartbroken. You grit your teeth, glaring at her retreating back. You cannot comprehend why this woman loves to tease you. Grumbling, you make your way to the bedroom next door. You flick the light switch and step inside. But the very next second, the sight freezes you. Wait, isn't this her house? Why is her own bedroom just as empty and bare? Once your bed is finally made, you head downstairs. Shin Wonru, wearing an apron, is just stepping out of the kitchen. She is carrying a plate of steaming braised pork. Its rich color looks incredible, and the aroma fills the room. Your mouth instantly starts to water, just as you sit at the table to enjoy the feast. Lu Zhengluo and Su Jingyao exchange a quick look. One of them walks toward the restroom. The other turns and heads upstairs. My stomach suddenly hurts a bit. Go ahead and eat first. I need to use the bathroom. The food is still too hot. I am going upstairs to shower first. Hey, bro. My mum rarely cooks, so you better eat up. This is a flavor you will absolutely never forget. In an instant, only you and Shin Wonru are left. You find their behavior odd, but don't overthink it. You pick up your chopsticks and grab a braised rib. You take a huge bite of the meat, but after chewing a couple of times, your face completely drops, and your movements freeze. An unbelievably salty, bitter taste floods your entire mouth. It feels like chewing on raw tea leaves. Zimeng, what is wrong? Is my cooking not to your liking? Seeing Shin Wonru's deeply concerned gaze, you force yourself to swallow it down. Squeezing out a strained smile, you stammer, no, nothing. Your cooking is just too delicious, auntie. At this very moment, you finally realize why those two guys ran away so quickly. You are gritting your teeth in sheer frustration. Su Jingyao, that wicked, evil woman. Is this the unforgettable dish you were talking about? And your complete traitor of a father. He knew about this, but did not warn you beforehand. What a trap. Once you manage to finish everything, Lu Zhengluo finally sneaks out of the restroom. He gives you a thumbs up and walks out of the villa. But before long, he slips right back inside, holding two fresh takeout boxes in his hands. He hands one over to Su Jingyao, and the two of them start eating right in front of you. Naturally, you got upset, drawing a wave of complaints from Shin Wonru. That night, you run to the bathroom over a dozen times. By the time you return to your room, you are completely drained. Early the next morning, after battling a stomach bug all night, you really dread going to work. Dragged into the car bodily by Su Jingyao. You want to cry. You're literally a wealthy heir. Why do you still have to work every day? How are you any different from a corporate slave? In response to your whining, Su Jingyao takes her own half-eaten sandwich and shoves it into your mouth, looking at the half-eaten sandwich in your hand, still wet with her saliva. You can't help but grimace. Your first instinct is to throw it away, but knowing Su Jingyao took a bite of it, you start to hesitate. Does this count as an indirect kiss? With a sister as drop-dead gorgeous as her, pretending you're not interested would be a lie. But right now, you are siblings. It's both a blessing and a curse. That morning, at the planning department cubicles, you slump over your desk staring blankly. Colleagues sneak curious glances your way. Usually, you are the ultimate slacker. But today, you are completely deflated. Did you exhaust yourself too much last night? Meanwhile, inside the CEO's office, Su Jingyao rests her chin, deep in thought. After a long pause, she asks, Secretary Joe, have you ever been in love? This sudden question leaves Secretary Joe completely frozen in shock. Her first thought is that her ears are playing tricks. This boss, who is colder than an iceberg, is actually asking about romance. Secretary Joe hesitates for a second. Her mind races as she steps closer to Su Jingyao, lowering her voice to whisper, do you mean with men or women? She has worked under Su Jingyao for 2 years. In the beginning, wealthy playboys constantly pursued her. But ever since Su Jingyao physically neutered one of them, nobody else has dared to try. Could President Su actually be interested in her? At that thought, Secretary Joe can't help but take 2 steps back, feeling absolutely terrified. Director Su, I already have a boyfriend. It really wouldn't work. Su Jingyao rolled her eyes at him. I meant, she said flatly, a man's advice. Secretary Joe finally let out a sigh of relief. He leaned in close and started whispering to her, guiding Director Su through her love life. That was something he could brag about forever. But as the wave of information flooded her mind, she nodded with a look of half-understanding. She decided to test out his advice right on you. Honestly, she preferred not to make the first move. But you blockhead, she had already dropped so many hints. And yet, you never noticed. At the exact same time, inside a cozy cafe in Shanghai, UFEI sat with 2 men wearing black uniforms. One of them pulled out a thick stack of 100 yuan bills. It looked to be around 20,000 yuan. He tossed them carelessly onto the table. Just help us get Xiaopeng out here, he said calmly. And this cash is yours. No need to worrying about us hurting him. Our boss simply wants to talk. He wants to discuss Miss Su with him. It is only natural for a father to worry. Du Fei sized the 2 men up. He had only stepped out to buy some tissues. But the moment he left, they dragged him here. They claimed to work for Su Jingyao's father. Who do you think I am? Du Fei snapped. Do I look like someone who sells out his friends? Who is Xiaopeng? He is my damn brother. You think a little dirty cash can buy my loyalty to my best friend? Before he could finish, the other man pulled another thick stack from his coat, slamming it on the table. Du Fei cleared his throat immediately. Actually, I completely understand a father's heart. He just loves his daughter. He whipped out his phone and pulled up your contact and hit dial. A moment later, the call connected. Chen, that video you asked for? Took a lot of digging with a friend to get it. I'm sending you the location. Get over here now. She hangs up before you can even get a word in, leaving both of you standing there completely speechless. The FBI sports a smug, triumphant grin. Smiling, she adds, if you ever need another favor like this, hit me up. I will give you a discount. 30 minutes later, you sneak out of the office on the quiet, but the moment you step outside, you are snatched and thrown into a van. The vehicle tears down the street. You fight like hell inside, but it is completely useless. You stare at the two black-clad thugs, terror in your eyes. The van soon screeches into a high-rise underground parking garage. This place is none other than Chonmao Group headquarters. Minutes later, you are dragged into the chairman's massive office. You think you're pretty brave, don't you, Z? Actually daring to hang up on me. Su Hongyuan is kicked back in his leather chair, watching you struggle as two guards hold you down. He pulls a premium cigar out of his cabinet, clips the end, and lights it up. You keep a straight face and speak up. Let me be very clear about this. What you are doing is highly illegal. What do you think Su Jingya will do if she finds out? Think she won't storm right over here? Su Hongyuan completely ignores your warning. He stands up, walking over to the floor-to-ceiling window to look down. Back turned to you, staring at the bustling city, he speaks coldly. Ever since Jingjing first brought you to meet me, I knew you held a special, important place in her heart, which is why I made sure to keep this meeting quiet. Listen, kid, I'm warning you, the two of you belong to completely different worlds. You will only drag her down. Stay away from my daughter. I will give you 5 million. Hearing this, it all clicks for you. The man actually thinks you and Su Jingya are dating. Little does he know, the two of you only share 3 years of complicated history. Yet, you know exactly how deeply she has cared for you all this time. Then, the very next second, you point straight at Su Hongyuan's face and snap. Before you dragged me here, you should have done some real research on me. Do you have any idea, after you walked out that day, just how heartbroken he really was? Sure, money can buy a lot of things, but it can never buy real love. Because you spoke so fast, your chest is now heaving violently. Yet, your expression remains absolutely firm and unwavering, showing that you don't regret a single thing you just did. Hearing this, Su Hongyuan's face instantly darkens with rage. In all his years running this massive city, no one has ever dared to point and yell at him like this. Before he can even say another word, you let out a cold scarf, turn on your heel, and march out of the office. The two guards see their boss stay completely silent, so they make no move to stop you and back away. Soon, Su Hongyuan is left entirely alone in the massive office. Right at that moment, the door to the private lounge inside the office opens, and a beautiful figure steps out. It is none other than Su Jingya. Every single word you just said, she had heard it all, loud and clear. Standing nearby, Su Hongyuan feels a sudden pang of regret. Had he known this would happen, he never would have let her come. He assumed you would throw her away the second money was offered, never expecting things to blow up in his face like this. I told you before, he is nothing like you at his core. So, please stop meddling in my life from now on. With those cold words left behind, Su Jingya turns around and marches out of the office too. Meanwhile, as you step outside the Chonmao Group building, you prepare to hail a cab back to work and continue slacking off. Suddenly, a sleek Rolls-Royce glides up from behind and stops right next to you. The driver's side window rolls down, and to your absolute surprise, the person inside is actually your stepmother Qin Wan's bodyguard, Zi Peng. Well, what a coincidence. Just perfect. I was just planning to make you and Jingjing some really good food tonight. If you're not busy, come to the supermarket with me to buy groceries. Hearing that Qin Wanru was cooking another massive feast, your face dropped instantly, and you squeezed out a tight smile. Well, the thing is, I was actually just heading home to get some rest. You know, if you decide not to join me tonight, I'll have to tell Jingjing that you sneaked out during work hours. How do you think she'd punish you? Hearing that threat, you sighed deeply. You forced a big smile. Actually, grocery shopping is my absolute favorite. In the end, you had no choice but to get in your stepmother's car. Sitting in the passenger seat of her Rolls-Royce, you tried to comfort your trembling stomach, while crying silent tears inside. With a deafening roar from the engine, the luxury ride headed toward Shengshan supermarket. But only a few minutes later, you noticed, the car had somehow arrived right in front of the Yangshao Group building right then. Qin Wanru parked along the curb, turned her head, and smiled. Off you go, Xia Peng. As for dinner, you should still eat with Jingjing instead. Your dad and I are going on a trip for the next 2 days. Of course, if you really want to eat my cooking, I can always. You jumped out of the car without hesitation. No need, Auntie. Thanks, you yelled, sprinting straight back into the building. But you never expected this. The second you stepped through the doors, Su Jingya was standing right by the elevator. You couldn't avoid her, so you reluctantly followed her into the general manager's office. Inside the room, Su Jingyao was leaning back in her chair, a frosty, freezing glare on her stunning face. She looked like a judge about to sentence a criminal. Well, talk to me, my dear little brother. I normally let it slide when you slack off, but what made you think you could sneak out this time? Standing here shivering is too embarrassing, can I just not say it? I will give you 3 seconds to think about it. Once time is up, if you still do not talk, you will be cleaning toilets starting tomorrow morning. At this moment, your hatred for Gu FBI spikes once again. If only that guy had not tempted you with those shady, late-night adult videos, you would not be in this mess right now. Still, you grit your teeth and spit out the truth, hearing such a ridiculous and vulgar excuse. Even Su Jingyao is left completely speechless. Is her own charm really not enough for you? Why does her little brother still want to watch those films? She stands up and walks toward you. Fine then. Your punishment is to go shopping with me tomorrow. And if you dare to say no, you are absolutely dead. Just then, Secretary Joe walks into the room, staring at the two of you in complete confusion. Wait, didn't you just leave? How are you back so quickly? Hearing this, you instantly widen your eyes and snap. Hey, didn't you sneak out too? Why am I the only one getting punished? This is not fair, I protest. Su Jingyao rests her chin in thought. Fine. Then I will punish myself to go shopping with you two. Inside, you start cursing up a storm. Unbelievable. Women are truly the most unreasonable creatures. That night, you toss and turn, unable to sleep. You keep thinking about Su Jingyao threatening you, making you admit to watching those adult films, spilling the secret you shared with your bro. She even managed to get her hands on your private chat history with your best friend. The more you dwell on it, the madder you get. Finally, you find the courage to sneak out. You creep up right outside Su Jingyao's room and press your ear flat against the door. Once you are sure there is no sound inside, your heart races as you grip the doorknob. In the past, you would never sneak into a girl's room. That is something you absolutely would not do. But when you think about Boss Su, that phone holds your darkest secrets. But you summon your courage anyway. The bedroom door creaks open. You tiptoe inside, silent as a ghost. The curtains are drawn tight, leaving the room pitch black. A faint, sweet feminine scent fills the air. A soft figure lies still on the bed. A smooth, delicate leg peeks out from the blanket, forcing you to steal a quick glance. Quickly, you shake your head, tearing your eyes away. You step forward and cover Su Jingyao's leg with the blanket. You scan the dark bedroom. On the nightstand, you finally spot it. Her phone is plugged in, charging. You wake the screen as expected. It requires a passcode or fingerprint. Out of options, you muster your courage and creep to the other side of the bed. You look down at the sleeping Su Jingyao, her eyes closed. Your hand reaches out, trembling slightly, just as you reach to press her finger onto the screen to unlock it. Suddenly, her hand shoots out and grabs your wrist tight. She pulls you down, holding you close in her arms. Before you can even process it, her long, slender legs wrap around your waist. Then, you hear Su Jingyao mumble softly right next to your ear. You jerk, you are mine. Your heart drops from your throat, and you sigh. Oh, she is just dreaming. But what did she mean by jerk? Does she actually have a boyfriend? Honestly, it makes sense. She is absolutely gorgeous, after all. Guys must be lining up for her. Yet, for some reason, you feel a strange pang of disappointment. No time to dwell on it. You quickly press her finger against the glowing screen. The screen unlocks, and you quickly delete those photos. You carefully wriggle out of her tight embrace, and slip the phone back where it belongs. You quietly slip out of the room. Inside, the room is pitch black. Su Jingyao lies on the bed, her pretty face softly flushed. The next morning, just as the first light breaks, the buzz of cicadas drifts in from the window. By the time Su Jingyao finally steps out of her room, you are standing there in an apron, holding a pot of porridge. Stepping out of the kitchen, you naturally greet her, saying, "Hey, you're awake. Come on over and get some breakfast." Su Jingyao walks over and sits down at the table, watching you ladle some porridge into a bowl. A charming smile spreads across her face. "Hey, silly boy, isn't it weird? I just woke up and every single photo on my phone has been completely wiped. Who do you think could have done that?" Your heart skips a beat when you hear her say that, but luckily, you were already prepared for this. Keeping your face perfectly calm, you reply, "No idea. Maybe your phone got hacked or something." Hackers these days are seriously advanced, you know. They can break into anyone's phone just like that, and do all kinds of shady stuff. Su Jingyao's grin widens even more at your words. She doesn't call you out on your little act. Once breakfast is finished, you both change clothes and head out, to avoid having everyone stare at you like zoo animals. Su Jingyao picks a modest car from her garage, a cheap domestic ride worth only $15,000. Since it is not a holiday, there is barely any traffic. Before long, the two of you drive up to Shanghai's largest shopping hub, Fine Mall. You both head inside the building. You shrug lazily and let out a sigh. "Look, let's agree on one thing before we start. If you buy a mountain of stuff again today, I am absolutely not carrying it for you." Su Jingyao taps your head playfully and lets out a cold huff. So many guys are dying to carry my bags and never get the chance. Yet you, my silly boy, actually dare to complain. No wonder you're still single. Hearing her say that instantly rubs you the wrong way. Oh, like you have room to talk. You're 2 years older than me. And you're just as single as I am. Find someone to marry soon, or you will end up an old maid. I doubt anyone would even dare to marry you. The second those words left your mouth, the room fell dead silent for a few seconds. Then, your painful, miserable scream echoed through them all. A moment later, Sujinya walked into a lipstick boutique. Behind her, you followed with a miserable glare. Rubbing your sore butt, are you looking for lipsticks, miss? We have quite a few great choices here. Some of the most popular shades on the market. And this one is our latest release. The clerk smiled, reaching into the display cabinet to pull out an elegantly packaged lipstick. Sujinya scanned the nearly 100 lipsticks on display and began browsing. Meanwhile, you sat near the entrance, whipping out your phone to text GFI, you backstabber. How dare you team up with others to set me up? How do you want to die this time? A reply came instantly. All right. I know you too well. Tell you what. Tomorrow I will treat you to a massage. We will go straight for the premium package. Gotta run. The supervisor is coming. Talk to you later. You were left completely speechless. This guy. He always brushes you off with a few lazy promises. Just as you put your phone down, Sujinya walked over with a lipstick in hand, blinked her eyes, and asked, so, how is it? Does this shade actually suit me? You stood up to take a closer look, then shook your head, stifling a laugh. You really shouldn't wear lipstick. Just forget about it. Trophies, with Sujinya's stunning features. She was completely unmatched, even without any cosmetics. Seeing you holding back your laughter, Sujinya completely lost her mood to shop. She handed the lipstick back to the clerk, rolled up her imaginary sleeves and marched right toward you. How dare you laugh at your sister? You brat, you really need to be taught a lesson? Seeing her approach with that menacing look, the smile slowly faded right off your face, slowly replaced by sheer panic. After that, you got lectured, as expected. And then, Sujinya dragged you around shopping all day. Only then were you completely free. You honestly have no idea, in the future, which unlucky guy will get stuck with this bad woman. If he gets dragged to go shopping every day, just thinking about it is absolutely terrifying. But the very next morning, the moment Sujinya opened her eyes, she spotted something on her nightstand. An exquisitely packaged lipstick was sitting there. It was the exact one she showed you yesterday. She was instantly filled with joy. A simple lipstick normally wouldn't make her this happy, but the point was that you bought it for her. Sujinya sat down at her vanity, gently applying the lipstick, and pursed her rosy lips. Her delicate face beamed with unconcealable joy. Maybe this guy isn't such a blockhead after all. At 9 a.m., tension filled the planning department room. The meeting outcome decided if they would get prime projects next month to earn bigger bonuses. But you sat relaxed in the corner, scrolling videos. Before long, the sharp click of high heels echoed outside the door. Then, the office door swung open, and Sujinya walked in with her executive team. At this very moment, she showed none of that playful side you usually saw. With just one cold, sharp glance, she put immense pressure on everyone in the room. Sujinya walked to the head of the table and sat down, scanning the entire room. Her eyes lingered on you for an extra 2 seconds, before calmly saying, now that everyone is here, let's get started. I hope your proposals won't disappoint me. The moment she said that, cold sweat broke out on everyone's backs. Across the entire conference room, you are probably the only one who isn't shaken by Sujinya's intense, suffocating pressure. First up is the first planning team. A thin, skinny guy, with deep, dark circles under his glasses, walks up to the projector screen. He takes a nervous deep breath, slowly speaks, and minutes pass. You listen to him drone on and on with his pitch, fighting back a sleepy yawn. Suddenly, an icy, sharp glare shoots right in your direction, making you sit up straight in absolute terror. Seeing this, Sujinya finally nods with satisfaction. Once the first 2 groups finish reporting, it is finally Group 3's turn, meaning you. You lazily stand up and walk to the screen, holding the slides your manager gave you, reading them word for boring word. No highlights at all. Yet, Sujinya sits there, listening with absolute focus. Soon, you finish and step down. The executives just shake their heads and sigh. At least the previous proposals were somewhat tolerable, but yours is a complete, unlistenable train wreck. Just as the managers prepare to criticize your work, Sujinya unexpectedly begins to clap her hands. She calmly announces you did a great job, and your proposal was excellent. With those words, the entire room falls dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. Everyone looks completely dumbfounded. It is clearly a lazy, copy-paste job. How is this even decent? The executives exchange glances, a realization flashing through their eyes, and quickly start clapping along with her, forcing bright smiles onto their faces. They praise you. Group 3's work is truly exceptional. This young man has incredible hidden potential. Our company is about to gain a rising star. I find this entire pitch highly practical. Let's approve it immediately. The rest of the staff stare at each other, their minds still completely blank with confusion. But your body already clapped along. Once the meeting adjourned, you couldn't wait to leave the conference room. Rushing back to your cubicle at lightning speed, you opened your laptop to play the latest show. Su Jingyao had just sat down in his office when Secretary Joe followed him in, holding files and smiling. Mr. Su, I assume you did not give young Master Lu special treatment, just because he happens to be your younger brother, right? In response, Su Jingyao replied with just 4 words. Pride goes before a fall. If Team 1 always gets all the benefits in the long run, then the other 2 teams will completely lose their drive to compete. That would only kill the ambition of the rest of the staff. The busy workday quickly came to an end. At the entrance of the office building, a Porsche sat parked quietly, waiting for its passenger. After a long while, the driver walked back. He got into the car and spoke carefully to Su Jingyao in the back. Mr. Su, young Master Lu said he has important business to attend to tonight, and that he might head back a bit late. Su Jingyao simply nodded in response. Meanwhile, right outside the entrance of the Jingshu massage parlor, 2 hostesses dressed in red kippaos and wearing sleek black high heels were standing by the entrance, warmly waving at the passers-by. Before long, a taxi pulled up and stopped right in front. You stepped out of the cab and stared at the massage parlor. Then, you turned to UFTI beside you and asked, "Are you absolutely sure this is a legit massage place? Let me tell you, kid, I have just been feeling a bit exhausted lately, and only want to relax with a massage, so do not go pulling any of your shady business on me." UFTI grinned playfully and replied, "Relax, buddy. I promise you it is totally legit." With that, the 2 of you headed inside, led by one of the young female receptionists. You paid the bill and walked over to one of the private rooms. As you were about to enter, a sharp, commanding voice suddenly echoed from the front counter. "Don't move. Police raid. Everybody get down on the ground right now." Half an hour later, outside the Shanghai police station, wearing her pajamas under her clothes, and wrapped in a long black winter coat, Su Jingyao quietly led you out of the building. "So this is the official business you were talking about. You really are such a good little brother. You've really made me proud, haven't you?" Her cold voice, mixed with the chilly wind, drifts into your ears. You keep your head down, too terrified to speak. You'd gone your whole life without ever experiencing a massage, and you just wanted to try it. Who knew you'd get busted before it even started? Worst of all, that wicked woman Su Jingyao found out. Now, your innocence is completely ruined. On the car ride back home, both of you sit silently in the back seat. Neither of you utters a single word. The atmosphere grows thick and heavy, getting so suffocating you can barely breathe. Before long, the car pulls into the luxury villa district. It rolls a bit further before finally stopping right outside your house. Your heart sinks with anxiety. You drag your feet as you step out. Pushing the door open, you enter the brightly lit living room. With the air conditioning running, the room feels noticeably warmer. Su Jingyao slips off her long black coat. She turns to you and speaks calmly. "Go lie face down on the sofa." You instinctively shrink your neck back. "What are you planning to do?" you whisper. Su Jingyao shoots you a sideways glance. She secretly laughs at how cowardly her little brother is. You get so nervous just looking at her. How could you ever dare do anything scandalous? She gave you a chance yesterday, and you blew it. A classic case of being all talk and no action. "Didn't you want a massage?" she explains patiently. "I actually learned some techniques in the past, and since you are my silly little brother, I'll make an exception and give you one today." You listen to this, feeling highly skeptical, but you still walk over and lie down on the sofa, burying your face in the cushions. As Su Jingyao starts working on your back, she gently whispers, "If you are really that tired, you don't actually have to stay the full 8 hours. If you really can't hold out much longer, go lie down in my office and get some rest. Just don't let any other employees see you. We don't want to start any gossip." You can't help but ask, "Are you an angel? In this whole world, I guess only an angel would treat me this well." Su Jingyao, who is massaging you, suddenly lets a gorgeous, mesmerizing smile break across her cold face. She leans her head close, whispering right into your ear. Breathing softly, she murmurs, "That's right. And your big sister belongs only to you." So, does your heart skip a beat for your big sister? The words, "belongs only to you," she delivers with a deliberate, teasing emphasis. Your ears instantly turn burning red. You grumble inwardly that this woman is teasing you again, deliberately saying things that are so easily misunderstood. Catching sight of your embarrassed, blushing face, Su Jingyao's playful smile only grows wider. She couldn't help but gently hug you from behind. You freeze, instantly panicking. Stuttering, you ask her what she is doing. This kind of intimacy is way too close. It's crossing the line. "Don't move. Just let me hold you for a bit." Su Jingyao's voice softens just a little bit. A big sister just wants to hug her little brother. That's completely normal, right? I can't help being obsessed with my little brother. You don't dare say another word. Your face is burning, almost smoking. After a long moment, Su Jingyao finally lets go of you. She turns and walks up toward her room. Without saying a single word, you feel a slight pang of disappointment, but you quickly push that thought away, silently reminding yourself, she is my sister. This is just her spoiling her little brother. I shouldn't be having these kinds of thoughts about her. But you fail to notice Sujinya as she walks upstairs with her back turned. His face was already burning crimson, just thinking about that risky stunt he pulled. His footsteps quickened on their own as he rushed upstairs. Thank goodness he managed to hold back just now. Otherwise, you would have blown your cover. The next morning, because of last night, Sujinya barely slept a wink. So both of you just took the day off? In the living room, Sujinya, in shorts, was lounging on the couch watching a movie. You were forced to rest your head on her lap. Sure, you complained about being forced, but honestly, her legs were soft, warm, and smelled amazing. Some single guys will probably never experience this kind of treatment. Sujinya was barely paying attention to the movie. She was completely focused on you, being under the same roof with someone she loved, sharing the same hobbies, and imagining a quiet, peaceful life ahead. Wasn't this everything she ever wanted? She suddenly whispered that it was wonderful having you around. Hearing this, you immediately nodded and said, I think so too. Wait, no. I mean, it is great watching you nervously explain. Sujinya burst into a beautiful, radiant laugh. Her gorgeous face lit up, leaving you completely dazed just looking at her. Only in front of you? Would Sujinya truly smile from the heart? When she was by herself, she always dwelt on the past and worried about the future, full of worries. Soon, the movie ended. You looked up at Sujinya, blinked your eyes, and whined, Sister, I'm hungry. I want food. Then sister will take you out to eat. Sujinya readily agreed. After getting dressed, you and Sujinya left the house and got into the car, still choosing that low-profile domestic car. You drove out of the villa district. You took her to a hot pot place near the school, grabbing some barbecue meat and to black pepper steaks. You couldn't wait to dig in, shoveling the food down. You even steal a quick glance at Sujinya across from you, seeing her take small bites without complaining about the cheap food. You finally let out a sigh of relief. Just now you worried this rich girl couldn't handle cheap street food. Once you both finish eating, determined not to waste this rare day off, you take Sujinya to the University Town Food Street and stroll through the arcade. The moment you step inside, Sujinya drags you over to a claw machine. Pointing at a pink panda inside, she says, I want this. You give her a surprised look. Who knew she actually liked plush toys like this? You pat your chest proudly. Just wait right here. Then you head to the token machine to pay. You only grab 10 game coins. Walking back, you smile confidently. Watch closely, girl. A machine like this, you can easily beat it with one hand. Sujinya immediately smacks you on the back of your head. Stop messing around and just catch it already, she snaps. If you can't grab it, I will tell your dad about the massage parlor and how you got caught. 20 minutes later, Sujinya stares at you with a blank face. Cold sweat begins to bead on your forehead. She speaks in a flat tone. You have wasted 200 coins by now. We could have bought several dolls with that money. Can you actually do this or what? For a man, being told you can't is the ultimate insult. Frustrated, you slam your hand onto the machine, and by pure luck, you hit the button perfectly. The metal claw slowly begins to descend. By some miracle, it snags the tags of two plushies. Under your and Sujinya's stunned gazes, they drop smoothly right into the prize chute. You quickly crouch down, pulling out both the pink and blue pandas. You smirk triumphantly at Sujinya. See that? Now that is my real skill. 2 prizes in one go. Give me those, Sujinya says, snatching them. You complain under your breath. What a massive waste of time. Should have just bought it directly. As the sky slowly grows dark, you both wrap up this wonderful day. After all, you have work tomorrow. The next morning at 8 a.m., inside the general manager's office, a little harder on the left. Did you skip breakfast, little bro, or what? Sujinya leans back, enjoying every second. You grit your teeth, massaging her shoulders. In your mind, you've cursed her 800 times. In the past, you would have taught her a lesson. But remembering she holds the leverage over you, you just have to swallow your pride. Little Peng, go pour me some water. Sujinya orders you once again. You snap back. Do you actually want a drink? How dare you talk back to me? Sujinya raises her eyebrow. Want me to tell your uncle about that? Do you want it hot or warm? You back down immediately. Grabbing the cup, you head to the water dispenser. You fill it with hot water, then stand by the air conditioner to blow on it. Once it cools down, you hand it over to her. Sujinya watches your every move, taking the cup with a smile. Having a little bro to boss around is so nice. Not having to lift a finger for anything is honestly the absolute best. Tired after serving her, you collapse onto the nearby couch, pulling out your phone to play your favorite game. This beats slacking off at your desk any day. Plus, you don't have to worry about bothering anyone. Sujinya watches you but says nothing. Actually, she prefers it this way. It keeps you from flirting with other girls. If some other girls stole you away, Where would she find such an obedient little brother? The afternoon flies by quickly, and soon, evening rolls in. Chin Wonru calls you right after getting back from her trip. She says she brought back some local treats for everyone, and wants to get together for dinner tonight. On your way back home, just thinking about the disaster of your last meal there sends a shiver down your spine. You turn to Su Jinya next to you. Let's make a deal. If Aunt Chin is the one cooking tonight, remember to tip me off when you're ready to slip away. We escape together. I'm not spending another entire night locked in the bathroom. Su Jinya doesn't even look up at you. Just keeps scrolling through her phone. Once you arrive at Hayating Villa, and hear that Lu Zhengwo is the one cooking, you finally let out a massive sigh of relief. You plop your butt down on the sofa, flipping on the television to kill some time. Su Jinya sits down right next to you, but deliberately scoots over to keep some distance. Right then, Chin Wonru picks up a red bean pastry from the table. She holds it to your mouth with a smile, saying, Zhao Peng, your dad told me how much you love snacks. I bought these pastries specially for you. Taste it and tell me how it is. You do not hesitate and take a big bite. Beside you, Su Jinya pretends to watch television, but her side eye is completely locked on you. Watching her own mother literally spoon-feed you. An instant wave of jealousy hits her. You annoying little brat. Can't you keep some distance from other women? And Chin suddenly pipes up again. Zhao Peng, you are really getting of age now. There is a matchmaking event at the city garden tomorrow. I will have Jingjing take you there to look around. See if you can find someone to start dating. Then you can get married in a couple of years. The moment she says this, you and Su Jinya leap up at the exact same time. You are completely spooked. While she is utterly panicking, Su Jinya quickly blurts out, my brother is not even ugly. Why are you so desperate to find him a girlfriend? Chin Wonru stared at her usually calm daughter. Her eyes were filled with panic. She tilted her head, acting puzzled. I'm just helping Zhao Peng find a girlfriend. Why are you getting so worked up? Who's getting worked up? I'm definitely not. Su Jinya's face flushed bright red. Chin Wonru secretly laughed to herself. She turned to look at you, reached out and patted your shoulder, saying earnestly, and that is settled then. She didn't even give you a chance to speak. She turned and headed straight to the kitchen. Inside the kitchen, Lu Zhengwo had heard the three of them clearly. Seeing Chin Wonru walk in, he leaned in close, whispering in a low voice, didn't you say you wanted to set up Jingjing and Zhao Peng? Why are you sending him on a blind date now? Chin Wonru rolled her eyes. Are you an idiot? I'm just trying to speed up their relationship. But early the next morning, Su Jinya sat in the driver's seat, completely expressionless. A cold chill radiated off her. The man she barely dared to touch herself, now, was actually being offered up to other women, who could possibly be in a good mood. Sitting beside her, you were completely speechless. You didn't even want to go on this blind date. When you both arrived at the park's matchmaking corner, Su Jinya turned to you with a cold expression. We're only here to look around today. This isn't a real blind date. If you dare look at anyone else, I'll take the time you got caught at the bathhouse, and snuck into my room at midnight, and tell Uncle all about it. You know what'll happen then. Just thinking of the consequences made you shudder. You quickly and obediently nodded in agreement, wondering in your heart how she became so terrifying again. The two of you had just walked a short distance. Right away, you two drew a crowd's attention. Men and women alike couldn't look away. A handsome guy, a stunning girl. You two were absolute rare finds here. At events like this, most women are chasing deep pockets, and the guys are just looking for pretty faces. It didn't take long for a guy to block Su Jinya's path. With total confidence, he introduced himself in English, saying, hello, madam. My name is Kemi, just back from the United States. I think we can have a deeper conversation. He honestly believed he was the ultimate catch here, a top-tier premium option in this whole dating pool. But too bad for him, he ran into Su Jinya. Just as expected, she coldly snapped at him, shut up, get lost. And she put some real muscle behind her words, shoving the smug guy straight onto the hard ground. He hit the dirt, gasping sharply in pain. The surrounding crowd immediately started whispering, asking how anyone could be so incredibly rude. With that drama over, you two made your way to the heart of the matchmaking market, where a high stage was built. Up on the stage, a woman named Auntie Lee was busy pairing up the singles. Down below, a massive, excited crowd was packed together like sardines. The whole place was absolutely roaring. Right then, Auntie Lee had just brought up a female candidate on stage, and she was scanning the crowd for a bachelor. Suddenly, her eyes swept over and locked onto you. Pointing her finger straight at you, she shouted, hey, young man, stop looking around like that. It is you. Get up on stage right now. With hundreds of eyes suddenly fixed on you, your scalp went completely numb, so you had no choice but to bite the bullet. Once you both stepped up, Auntie Lee, wearing a bright red robe, smiled warmly at the girl. He looks like a great catch, doesn't he? Why don't you introduce yourself first? The girl proudly pitched her impressive background to everyone. Auntie Lee instantly put on a look of pure surprise. Sure, this bachelorette was a little bit older, but her qualities were undeniably top tier. Finding a partner would be absolutely effortless. A second later, Auntie Lee turned her gaze to you. Your turn. You calmly speak up. My name is Bu Fei. I just graduated from Moda University this year, and I am currently interning. No house, no car. At the exact same time, back home, Bu Fei is watching study videos, when he suddenly lets out two massive sneezes. He looks around in confusion. How weird. Who dares to gossip about Ziming? Maybe I have been rubbing one out too much lately and got weak. Half an hour later, Su Jinya stands beneath a green tree that is 3 meters tall. You are standing right beside her. Wearing a flattering smile, you say, my dear older sister, did your little brother do well? I did not embarrass you, right? The corners of Su Jinya's mouth curl up. She reaches out her fair hand and gently rubs your head. I will let you pass. You did not embarrass your sister. Let's go, as your reward. I am taking you out for a massive seafood feast. After leaving the city park, Su Jinya leads you to an elegant, open-air Western restaurant located close by. Inside the restaurant, Su Jinya is skillfully cutting the juicy steak on her plate, but you grab yours with your hands and gnaw, eating as savagely as you can. Seeing you eat like this, Su Jinya smiles and asks, Zipeng, what exactly are you looking for in a partner? You are completely lost in the delicious food, and reply without a single thought, someone just like you. But if your personality were a bit better, you would be perfect. You do not even notice that. This highly casual remark of yours sends massive, roaring waves of emotion crashing through Su Jinya's once peaceful heart, making all her movements grind to a halt. Her mind keeps racing with the words, someone like me. That means this little brat actually likes me? While she is completely lost in thought, you have already finished gnawing down your entire steak. Seeing her sitting there dazed, you reach right over and swipe the steak she just finished cutting up, happily eating away at your meal. You don't like this, do you? Then I'll gladly do you a big favor and finish it off. Once lunch was finally over, trouble suddenly hit the company out of nowhere. Su Jinya had to cancel his vacation and take you back there. The issue started when the deputy sales director took massive bribes. Secretary Joe had managed to uncover concrete evidence. This time, the stolen cash actually exceeded 10 million yuan. This had crossed Su Jinya's limit a long time ago. Su Jinya took charge of handling things, staying busy with it until the late evening. On the drive back home, he didn't even have the mood to tease you anymore. Seeing this, you chose not to disturb him. As soon as you got home, you went to your room. You couldn't really help him anyway, so the only thing you could do was avoid causing him any trouble. Over the next 3 days, Su Jinya wore a deeply stressed and unhappy look every single day. While working at the office Wednesday, your desk neighbor Tang Xiaoyu looked incredibly stressed and deeply worried. After hesitating for quite a long time, she finally leaned in close and whispered something in your ear. You felt quite puzzled. This was definitely not some minor issue. Are you absolutely sure you heard right? Tang Xiaoyu gave a firm nod and said, I'm absolutely sure. Seeing that she wasn't joking around at all, you thought for a brief second and replied, all right, I'll go check it out with you after work ends. If things are really the way you described, you're going to get a massive reward for this. The entire afternoon slipped by very quickly. Downstairs in the parked company car, Su Jinya was sitting in the passenger seat, his face etched with deep exhaustion. When you didn't walk out for a while, he frowned and was about to call your phone. But then his phone buzzed with your text saying, go on home first. I have some real business to handle. I'll be back late, so don't wait up for dinner. Reading your text message on his screen, his already sour mood turned even worse. Is this bratty kid really slipping away to get another massage? He immediately ordered the security team to pull the footage. 10 minutes passed without the guard replying to President Zhu. After young Master Lu clocked out, he left the building with a female co-worker. Su Jinya's brow furrowed even deeper. She immediately ordered her driver to follow. Soon, they caught up with you and Tang Xiaoyu walking along the street, but she never expected what came next. You two actually walked straight into a couple's hotel. Witnessing this scene, Su Jinya grit her teeth and ordered the driver home. At that very moment, inside a hotel suite, you and Tang Xiaoyu were leaning quietly against the door, pressing your ears flat against it to listen. After quite some time, noises finally echoed from down the hallway. It was the voices of a man and a woman, fading only when the neighboring suite door clicked shut. Even though the audio was faint, you still immediately recognized one of the voices. It was Zhao Hongyi, your company's vice president. You had no idea who the other person was, though. In truth, the only reason you were here was because Tang Xiaoyu felt suffocated during yesterday's lunch break and headed up to the rooftop to catch her breath. By pure chance, she overheard Zhao Hongyi calling a rival company, plotting to sell off your firm's secret proposal. He even named this exact location for the drop. Right now, you quickly pull out your phone. The active call screen glows in your palm. Before sneaking in, you had used Tang Xiaoyu's phone to connect her wireless Bluetooth earbuds, first dialing your own number. Then, leaning out from your suite balcony, you carefully tossed one of the earbuds. right under the bed in the neighboring room. Just like that, the two of you could use that single earbud to secretly eavesdrop on the entire conversation next door. Moments later, a woman's voice drifted from the neighboring room. President Zhao. This is a little token of appreciation from our boss. Please accept it. Then, Zhao Hongyi's voice comes through. He chuckles with satisfaction, pleasure doing business. Then comes the sound of a zipper. You guess he just opened that black briefcase. It doesn't take long. Zhao Hongyi's voice rings out once more. This is Yangshao Group's cool proposal. Keep it safe. Your heart instantly tightens. A private middle school downtown is being demolished. Countless real estate companies are eyeing that land. And the most competitive ones are Yangshao Group and Longshan Group. It seems that woman is Longshan Group's chairman's private secretary. She came here today just to steal Yangshao's proposal and floor price. If those plans get leaked, all of Su Jinyao's hard work goes down the drain. Thank you, Mr. Zhao. The woman's voice sounds incredibly eager, as if reaching out for the documents. But Zhao Hongyu pulls them back. He smirks. You want the proposal? Let's see how well you perform first. The woman understands immediately. She lets out a seductive giggle. Then comes the rustle of clothes sliding off, followed by sounds that make your ears turn red. You clear your throat uncomfortably. Quickly shut off the recording. Let's get out of here first. Once you step outside the hotel, you hail a cab, give Tang Xiaoyu some instructions, and send her home first. Then, you head back to the villa. Just as you reach the front gate, your driver, who was waiting, pulls you aside. Lowering his voice, he tells you that Su Jingyao saw you and Tang Xiaoyu going into the hotel. He gives you a quick warning. Right then, the villa door swings open. Su Jingyao, hearing the noise, steps outside. She glares at you coldly. Her voice is icy. You still have the nerve to come back. You shrug, acting like you didn't care. If you don't want me here, then I'll just leave. With that, you turned and walked straight out. Without a single moment of hesitation, Su Jingyao was left completely stunned. She thought you'd panic and try to explain. She never expected you'd walk away without looking back. Trembling with rage, she fumed. Fine, just go. Go. And it's best if you never come back. Walking down the street, you knew exactly what was going on. You were no fool. From Su Jinyao's recent actions and behavior, you'd already noticed her feelings for you. But then, you had second thoughts. You came from a single-parent family. You had absolutely nothing. And Su Jinyao, she was a brilliant, shining star. Without your dad's connection at the firm, your paths would never have crossed in this lifetime. Instead of letting things get closer, and struggling constantly to keep boundaries as siblings, it was better to use this chance to draw a line. Sure, you knew this wouldn't stay hidden forever, but you wanted to use this exact moment to give her a crystal clear answer. You two were not a match. So, you sent Tang Xiaoyu a text, telling her not to mention you in her report. Just say it was all her own work. Tang Xiaoyu was left completely puzzled, but she still obediently agreed. But you had no idea? You had completely underestimated her feelings for you? The next day, you skipped work. Instead, you rode Gufei's scooter to deliver food. Until the Yangshao Group officially let you go, you had to get by delivering gig orders. Luckily, you did plenty of part-time gigs in college. You knew these local streets inside out. Navigating them was second nature. At the exact same time, inside the Yangshao Group General Manager's office, Su Jingyao stared at your empty desk on the monitor. She clenched her fists, unable to stop herself. Lu Chen, why didn't you just explain to me? Her eyes drifted to the pink panda plushie on her desk, the one you had won for her back then. In an instant, your face flashed across her mind. Her gut told her, you aren't the type to mess around. But what she saw with her own eyes forced her to believe it. Just as Su Jingyao's thoughts were spinning out of control, Secretary Zhou suddenly pushed open the office door, rushing straight over to her side, and whispered something in her ear. Hearing this, Su Jingyao frowned slightly. Are you sure this is real? Secretary Zhou nodded solemnly. She pulled out her phone, pulling up an audio clip, and played it right in front of her. The recording was a conversation between Zhao Hongyi and Longshan Group's secretary. Su Jinyao's face slowly darkened. Her mind, frozen ever since you walked out, suddenly began to race. Tang Xiaoyu claimed she recorded this in secret, but knowing Tang Xiaoyu as she did, with Tang Xiaoyu's limited abilities, it was impossible for her to get this alone. And on top of that, Tang Xiaoyu went to that couple's hotel with you yesterday. Su Jingyao suddenly stood up and stormed out of the room without a single word. She finally understood. You were using this whole setup to reject her. But who gave you the right to make that call? Su Jingyao grit her teeth. Even if she had to tie you up, she would bring you back. She headed to planning first to find Tang Xiaoyu, and demanded to know where you were. But Tang Xiaoyu panicked and claimed she didn't know. Su Jingyao had to let it go. She called you repeatedly, but there was no answer. Left with no choice, she resorted to the dumbest method possible, driving through the streets, searching for you. Meanwhile, you, completely lost in delivering food, were in the absolute worst mood. Delivering food in this insane heat is literally pure hell. And the worst part, the pay is absolute garbage. The long afternoon finally slips away. The sky gradually turns dark. You ride your electric scooter to pick up Guefei, who just got off work. You to find a barbecue stall, determined to drink your worries away. That drinking session drags on deep into the night. 2 entire bottles of hard liquor are completely empty. You and Guefei can barely even stand up straight. Leaning on each other, you wobble down the street. Your face is bright red. You let out a loud belch and mumble, "Hey, my good son." At this point, your father won't keep any more secrets from you. That online girlfriend you dated back in your freshman year was actually me catfishing you on an alt account. Guefei freezes for a second. Then he laughs it off. Actually, those black thigh-high stockings in your closet were secretly stashed there by yours truly. You to lock eyes and burst out laughing. Under the dim glow of the streetlights, you stumble forward, holding each other up as you fade away. As you round a dark corner, you both finally lose steam and collapse straight onto the hard ground, instantly falling into a deep, heavy sleep. Not long after, from the darkness just down the road, a Porsche comes speeding toward your location. Then comes the loud, screeching sound of slammed brakes. The next second, the Porsche drifts and comes to a smooth halt. The driver's side door swings open. Su Jingya steps out of the car. She marches over and aggressively grabs you by the collar. Yanking open the back passenger door, she tosses you straight inside, and immediately hits the gas, speeding away, leaving Guefei completely abandoned and passed out on the pavement. The very next morning, you grudgingly force your heavy eyes open. Your head feels like it is about to explode. You rub your temples and finally take a look around. The layout of this bedroom feels strangely familiar. A faint, sweet, and familiar scent lingers softly in the air. After a brief moment, you are forced to accept reality. You are currently lying in Su Jingya's bedroom, still lying in her bed. You drank too much last night. You literally can't remember a thing. Just as you start overthinking, the bedroom door suddenly swings open. Su Jingya walks in wearing pajamas, carrying a warm bowl of plain porridge. She glances over at you lying awake, and says softly, "I made you porridge. Warm up your stomach." You look at the messy sheets, then down at yourself in just boxers. Panicking, you ask, "Last night, we didn't do anything we shouldn't have, right?" A playful smirk touches Su Jingya's lips, as she sits on the bedside chair. A guy and a girl alone in a room, she whispers, "What do you think happened?" And honestly, you were pretty smooth. At those words, wild scenes flash through your head. All kinds of chaotic, messy thoughts. You bury your face in the pillow, looking completely defeated. Your 20 years of innocence, gone just like that. Seeing your dramatic panic, Su Jingya sighs, "Relax, okay. I slept in your room last night. Why do you act like you're the one who got ripped off? Seriously, you're ridiculous." You finally let out a sigh of relief. Su Jingya scoops a spoonful of porridge, holding it out. She blinks her gorgeous eyes, softly saying, "Open up. I can eat by myself. No need to feed me." You protest softly, "You jerk," she mutters. "I still haven't settled the score from the other day. When I tell you to eat, you eat. Don't make me slap you." Su Jingya's eyes turn ice cold, shivering under her threatening glare. You have no choice but to swallow it. Seeing you yield, Su Jingya asks bluntly, "You know I like you, right? Am I right? I have hinted so many times. You must have known all along. So why did you reject me? Give me one good reason." Instinctively, you say you are just a nice guy. Before you can even finish, Su Jingya's expression suddenly shifts. She raises her hand and slaps your right cheek. Glaring at you, she snaps, "Wrong answer. Say it again." You nurse your stinging cheek, feeling both frustrated and deeply wronged. Just as you are about to argue, you see her raise her hand again, and you instantly shrink back your neck. Pouting, you mutter, "But we are basically siblings. And you are so amazing. I do not deserve you." Su Jingya keeps her eyes locked on you. Her voice is firm. "I asked if you like me." "I do," you whisper. "Then that is that." Su Jingya cuts you off. "Whether you are good enough is my call. If I say you are worthy, then you are." You are left completely speechless, not knowing what to say next. The bowl of porridge is soon empty. Su Jingya sets the empty bowl aside, and walks back to sit on the bed. Looking serious, she says, "When I first graduated, I did not know what I was living for. I felt completely lost all the time. But in my darkest moments, you were the one who kept me going. After spending time with you, I realized the future might not be so bad. Zipeng, I truly love you." Staring at her incredibly earnest face, you fall silent for a moment. Suddenly, you punch yourself hard in the face, hating your own weakness and playing dumb. Blushing, you finally find your voice. "Su Jingya, I really like you. I want to be with you." Hearing this, a beautiful smile finally breaks across Su Jingya's face. You summon your courage and slowly lean closer to her, as the gap between you two shrinks. Just as you were finally about to break through those inner walls, suddenly, a noise came from right outside. "Are you home?" Chin Wonru's voice suddenly echoed outside. A second later, the door swung open. She stared at you sitting stiffly in the bedroom, right next to Su Jingya. She asked, looking baffled, in broad daylight. What are you two doing sneaking around inside this room anyway? I called out and got no answer. I honestly thought nobody was home. Mom, why are you here? Sujinya forced a polite smile, but her mind was screaming because they were so incredibly close. Her mother just had to show up right now, ruining everything at the absolute worst possible moment. Uncle Liluo, and I just came back from the phone store. My old phone is 2 years old and dying anyway, so I grabbed new ones for you and Xiaopeng too. Qin Wanru playfully waved the phone boxes in her hand. Sujinya knew the romantic moment was completely ruined, and stormed out of the bedroom in frustration. You scrambled to grab your clothes and quickly threw them on, trying to slip downstairs with a pounding heart, but Qin Wanru reached out to block your path. Her smile carried a highly teasing, playful look. Well, that is strange. Xiaopeng, why were you sleeping in Jingjing's bedroom? You two did not. You scratched your head, feeling guilty. Trying to act cool, you stammered. I drank too much last night, and my sister had to bring me back here. He crashed in my room last night. Oh, so that is how it went. Qin Wanru finally let you off the hook. She smiled, watching you make a quick escape. Nodding happily, she knew her future son-in-law was locked in. Still, sleeping together already. That was moving a bit too fast. She needed to slow things down a notch. True love cannot be rushed like that. Moving in together without a trial run always ends in disaster. Later that afternoon, right after lunch, Sujinya practically dragged you out of the house to go shopping, walking down a nearby food street packed with people. You followed closely behind her in the crowd. Your hand accidentally brushed against hers as you walked. Startled, you quickly pull your hand back, but on second thought, that doesn't feel right. You've both already made your feelings clear, even if there was no official confession yet. But you're still basically an intern boyfriend, right? What's wrong with a little hand-holding? With that thought in mind, you summon your courage and grab Sujinya's hand, squeezing it tightly in yours. Your heart races, blood pumping hard from nerves. A faint blush colors Sujinya's cheeks. She leans in just a little closer. Your bodies are almost pressed right against each other. She suddenly breaks the silence. The other day, when you went with another woman into that love hotel, tell me, how should I punish you for that? I only did that to help you rescue the traitor. You quickly scramble to explain. Sujinya turns to look at you. Sounding a bit hurt, she says, let me repeat myself. You entered a love hotel with another woman. You have absolutely no comeback for that. So with a wry smile, you ask, so, how will you punish me? But let's be clear first. My salary for this month is already completely docked. Sujinya leans in and whispers with a playful smirk. Then let's punish you by keeping you by my side forever. You're not allowed to go anywhere else. Shanghai's summer is undoubtedly absolute torture. At least, it is for you. You'd honestly rather freeze to death than endure this heat. So you and Sujinya cut the walk short and head home. But the moment you walk through the door, it turns out Sham and Lof have moved in. They claim their air conditioner is broken, and they need to crash here for a few days. What you don't know, though, is that Qin Wanru actually arranged this entire move. It was all a scheme to push you and Sujinya one step closer together. When night falls on the villa, Lu Zhengluo takes charge of the cooking, while you handle the dishes and wipe down the tables. It's a perfect division of labor. When you finally went back to your room late at night, Sujinya suddenly called you. I have insomnia and can't sleep, she said. Stay on the phone and talk to me. So, are you really unable to sleep? Or do you just want an excuse to chat? You teased her with a knowing grin. A few minutes later, you two were chatting on your phones through the bedroom wall. You told her funny stories from your college days. But after only a brief moment, the other end of the line went completely silent. Clearly, Sujinya had already fallen asleep listening. Snuggled under the covers, you kept the call connected, whispered a soft goodnight, and closed your tired eyes, falling fast asleep. Early the next morning, you were choked awake by Sujinya pinching your nose shut. Rubbing your reddened nose, you grumbled in protest. Ouch, what was that for? Sujinya stood there, hands behind her back, expressionless. Now that you're up, is the first thing you say to your girlfriend, what are you doing? Oh, is that so? You joked. Drop dead, scumbag. Helplessly, you surrendered. Fine, fine, fine. Good morning to my beautiful, beloved sister. How about you just get lost? Are you trying to make me sick? Hurry up and eat breakfast. Starting today, you're commuting to the office with me. Sujinya interrupted. Previously, to avoid gossip from people at work, and because you loved to sleep in, you and Sujinya always commuted at different times. But now, the whole office knew you were well connected. And since you two had finally crossed that line, there was no longer any need to hide it. After finishing breakfast, Qin Wanru stood at the doorway, watching your car drive off. She smiled warmly, saying, those two young kids really do look like a married couple. Of course, just look whose son he is. Lu Zhengluo walked over, looking incredibly smug. Honestly, you had always been his absolute pride. A top-tier university graduate. The man was handsome and charming. What woman wouldn't fall for that? Wonru just rolled her eyes at him. What are you looking at? Get moving and do the dishes. Jengwo meekly mumbled his agreement, then turned and scurried into the kitchen. In the car heading to the office. Now that Mom wasn't watching, Jinyo completely unleashed her inner little devil. She eagerly threw her arms around you, looking up with a smirk. No one is watching us now. Don't you want to do something to me? Only for right now. I will say yes to whatever you want. You finally decided to let go too. Slowly, you leaned your face closer to hers. As the distance between you rapidly shrank, your heart began to race like crazy. Closing your eyes the very next second, you felt your lips brush against something incredibly soft. When you opened your eyes, Jinyo's flawless face was right in front of you, staring at your heavily blushing cheeks. She knew instantly this was your first kiss. Her lips curled up into a playful smirk. My cute little brother is just too precious. Normally, the drive from the villa to the office takes 10 minutes, but the driver seemed to slow down on purpose, taking a whole half hour just to get there. Once inside the building, Jinyo instantly reverted to her Ice Queen persona, striding in her high heels, a sharp blazer draped over her shoulders. She marched confidently straight toward her office. Secretary Joe was already waiting by the door. Seeing her approach, she opened the door, whispering, "Miss Su, according to our investigation, Vice President Zhao is definitely acting suspicious. That recording Tang Xiaoyu sent us is probably authentic. A vice president like him, leaking company secrets and selling us out is a major scandal. It could even implicate several other executives." Jinyo walked over and sat at her desk. She coldly orders a complete redraft of the proposal. It must be done in secret. Also, start consolidating our funds. Since the other side already knows our reserve price, we will turn their own trick against them. Meanwhile, you sit back down at your desk, feeling completely restless. Once the novelty of slacking off wears off, it starts to feel like pure torture. After a moment, you get up and head to the general manager's office. Inside, Secretary Joe is busy giving her daily report. She stops when you walk right in without knocking. Right in front of Su Jinya, you confidently declare, "I have made up my mind. I am starting my own business. After all, I graduated from a prestigious university. What if my new company actually takes off? By then, you can be the one calling the shots at home." Secretary Joe stares at you with a bizarre expression. Her mind is racing with doubts. Where do you get the nerve to say something like that right in front of President Su? With how incredibly dominant President Su is, how could she just let you run off and start a business? Especially now, when company cash flow is so tight. You are practically begging for a scolding. "Sure," Su Jinyo replies with a laugh. "Bring me a feasible business plan, and I will let you go do it." Her smile has a slightly teasing edge, but underneath the amusement, there is pure affection. Secretary Joe is completely dumbfounded. She cannot help but scream in her head, "Hey, who is this love-struck fool? Where did our fierce, dominating boss go?" You did not expect things to go this smoothly either. Dazed for a brief second, you scratch your head and walk out of the office. You mutter to yourself, "When did this woman become so easy to deal with?" Faced with Secretary Joe's utterly confused gaze, Su Jinyo offers no explanation. She simply pulls up the security camera feed for Planning Team 3, quietly watching the screen as you return to your desk. You open your presentation slides, brimming with absolute determination. You stare at the computer with a long face for ages. But in the end, you just open a game to slack off. Su Jinyo grins triumphantly at this. I let him slack off for 2 weeks, she thinks. All of this just to slowly crush his ambition. Now I've completely spoiled him into a total slacker at work. Starting a business? No way. Secretary Joe gives her a thumbs up in sheer admiration. As expected of President Su, this plan is brilliant. In just 2 weeks, you have already, without even realizing it, become completely unable to escape from Su Jinyo's grasp. Su Jinyo giggles to herself, "Silly boy, you just need to be my pretty little trophy. I will make the money to support you." Soon enough, the lunch hour rolls around. Tang Xiaoyu packs up her files and gets ready for the cafeteria, only to see you fast asleep next to her. She gently whispers, "Brother Peng, wake up. It's time to eat." You just smack your lips, with absolutely no intention of waking up anytime soon. Just at that very moment, Su Jinyo walks right over. Seeing this, Tang Xiaoyu hastily retreats to the side, and bows her head respectfully. "Good afternoon, President Su." Su Jinyo gives a soft nod in response, with her eyes landing right on you, fast asleep on your desk. Raising her voice on purpose, she says, "Look, there's a celebrity wearing black stockings over there, and she is actually holding a rare, limited edition Asuna anime body pillow." These words are like an instant trigger for you. You jump straight up out of reflex, looking around wildly, with drool still dripping from your mouth. You ask excitedly, "Black stockings? Where? Where?" Next to you, Tang Xiaoyu can't help but burst out laughing. She never expected that you, usually so lazy, could actually have such a hilarious side to you. The next second, you find yourself being dragged toward the elevator by your ear by Su Jinyo. She says as she drags you, "Our business over in Japan has run into a small issue. I must travel for 2 days. Have lunch outside with me first, and then I'll leave. Still dazed and half asleep. You just nod your head subconsciously. Soon, Sujinya took you to a fancy restaurant. You two were being shamelessly affectionate during dinner. You were so mushy that you completely stuffed the nearby waiters with your romance. That afternoon in the Shanghai airport waiting hall, Sujinya wore a flowing, pure white dress, looking like a stunning, untouchable goddess. She easily captured the attention of every passerby. With boarding time fast approaching, Sujinya stepped up and wrapped you in a warm hug. Just as you were feeling incredibly smug, her playful voice whispered in your ear, "Listen, kid, you better behave yourself while I'm away these 2 days. If I catch you fooling around behind my back, you're absolutely dead meat when I get back." Cold sweat broke out across your forehead. You nodded frantically, pleading your absolute loyalty. Sujinya finally flashed a satisfied smile, planting a soft, quick peck on your lips. She turned toward the gate, walking away. 30 minutes later, watching her plane disappear into the clouds, you hid your sheer excitement and headed for the exit. Now that she's gone, how can she stop you? Going to work? Not a chance. You're pulling an all-nighter for gaming and shows. You spent the next 24 hours in pure paradise. When night fell, you finished dinner and showered. Lying in bed, you hesitated for a moment, but still decided to call Sujinya. Meanwhile, in a high-end Tokyo hotel room, Sujinya was buried in her work. She focused intently on the dense Japanese characters on her screen, scanning through them at lightning speed. Suddenly, her phone buzzed on the desk. The screen read, "My silly pig." Seeing your contact name, a warm smile instantly softened her face. She picked up and answered, whispering, "I thought you'd completely forgotten about me. Did you only start missing me after dark?" You chuckled and said, "If I didn't call you tonight, you'll probably spank me when you get back." The second it leaves your mouth, you realize the line has gone dead silent. You quickly scramble to add, all right, I really miss you. When are you actually coming back, anyway?" Hearing this, the icy look in Sujinya's eyes finally melts away, though her voice remains cool. "Since I'm not there today, how have you been?" "Terrible. I'm missing you so much I'm going crazy." You rush to prove your devotion. Sujinya can't help but smile at that. She chats with you for a full 2 hours, only hanging up once she starts getting sleepy. The next morning, the moment you open your eyes, you see Sujinya in a black night dress, lying on her side right next to you. Her gorgeous, pale legs peek out from under the hem. Her voice is as soft as silk. "Well, looks like my little lazy pig is finally awake." You lie there under the covers, staring blankly in complete shock at her sudden appearance. Dumbfounded, you ask, "How are you here? Aren't you supposed to be on a 2-day business trip?" Sujinya lets out a soft chuckle. "Didn't someone say they missed me last night? So I caught a red-eye flight, just to come back and have breakfast with you. A full 2,000 kilometers from Japan to Shanghai, just to have breakfast with you." You instantly reach out and wrap your arms around her. Your heart melts. This woman is seriously too good to you. You bury your face in her chest, your face burning hot as the two of you cuddle. Suddenly, Shin Wonru's voice calls out from outside the room. "What are you two doing in there? Hurry up and come down for breakfast." You and Sujinya finally pull apart, quickly changing clothes to head down. But as you leave, Sujinya doesn't let you go without leaving her mark, planting a sweet kiss on your cheek downstairs. Shin Wonru watches the two of you finally walk in, and can't help but tease her daughter. "Look at you, taking a 2-hour flight just to have a quick breakfast. That round trip is such a massive waste of time." Sujinya shrugged, helpless. Can't help being a total brothercon. You were terrified Shiomu would discover your relationship with Sujinya. Too nervous to even utter a word, you just kept your head down, eating quickly until you finished. Then, you drove Sujinya straight to the airport. The two of you said goodbye at the gate. But this very moment was witnessed by Su Hongyuan, who just got back. He saw everything plain as day. Su Hongyuan stood at the exit, briefcase in hand, watching you watch Sujinya leave from not far away. He instantly felt something was off. Quickly pulling out his phone, he snapped a photo of it. Then, he immediately dialed Shin Wonru's number. The moment she picked up, Su Hongyuan demanded, absolutely furious, asking what exactly that useless brat's current relationship was with their precious daughter. He yelled that he just saw them hugging at the airport, demanding to know what kind of mother she was. To him, Sujinya was his most outstanding daughter, someone who deserved an elite, wealthy heir. Definitely not a broke kid like you. On the other end, Shin Wonru was peacefully watching TV, but this sudden, aggressive interrogation instantly ruined her good mood. She snapped back coldly, saying she was her daughter, and didn't need his meddling, warning him not to interfere. Otherwise, she would completely turn on him. With that, she slammed the phone down. Su Hongyuan glared at his dead screen, gritting his teeth. A moment later, he dialed another number. Meanwhile, after you saw Sujinya off, you returned to the office and kept slacking off. Before you knew it, the entire morning had passed. Just as you were heading out for lunch, your phone on the desk started buzzing. It was an incoming video call from Su Jingyao. The moment you answered, Su Jingyao's face on the screen lit up with smiles, appearing to be standing on a bustling shopping street, with food plates set beside her. She smiled, asking why you hadn't turned on your camera. I'm worried you're just teasing me because of my good looks. Su Jingyao's beautiful face immediately darkened. Are you asking for a beating? You pouted. You had to turn on your camera. The moment your face popped up on the screen, Su Jingyao finally cracked a breathtakingly beautiful smile. She softly whispered, Jiaping, call me big sister dearest. Let me hear it. Hearing this, Tang Xiaoyu, who was sitting right next to you, could not help but sigh at how incredibly charming you are. To think you could make that cold, aloof and completely unapproachable President Su turn into such a sweet, gentle neighborhood big sister. No way I am saying that. You let out a proud, stubborn little huff. Who do you think I am? You expect me to just do it? How embarrassing would that be for me? Listen up, boy. My patience has its limits. Su Jingyao's eyes instantly turned icy cold. If you do not want me to come back, holding a whip in my hand, you better behave yourself, got it? The next second, you instantly switched to a sweet, gentle tone, and whispered softly, big sister dearest. After saying that, even you felt your face flush bright red. On the other end of the line, Su Jingyao could not stop her lips from curving upward. If she was not still on a business trip abroad, she would really want to grab you right now, pin her rebellious, bratty little brother right beneath her, and tease you mercilessly. Night fell before you knew it. A plane coming from across the ocean slowly landed at the bustling Shanghai airport. As Su Jingyao got off the plane and passed the arrivals lounge, she instantly spotted a familiar figure sitting in the corner. Because it was so late at night, there were very few people in the waiting hall, making the way you sat dozing in your chair stand out completely. With a smirk on her lips, she walked briskly toward you. She softly asked, did you come all this way just to pick up your sister? At least you still have some semblance of a conscience. You instantly snapped awake. Once you realized it was Su Jingyao, you stubbornly grumbled, who says I am here for you? I just happened to jog by here on my night run. Got tired and stopped to rest, that's all. Looking at your stubborn face, Su Jingyao reached out her slender hand, pulled you up from the chair, and led you out of the airport. Stepping outside, the city lights came into view as the breeze blew with a chilly draft. Su Jingyao was only wearing a thin white dress. Seeing this, you quickly slipped off your coat and draped it over her. Her heart warmed instantly. She hugged you tight, whispering, still a bit cold, but this is much better. You didn't say a word, just wrapped your arms tighter around her. The Porsche was parked by the curb. Getting into the passenger seat, she whispered goodnight and quickly drifted off to sleep. Her message was loud and clear. You'd have to carry her inside once you got home. You let out a helpless sigh, but she's your girl, so of course you'll spoil her. The next morning at 8 a.m., since she had stayed up late, Su Jingyao was still sound asleep. Over at the dining table, Lu Zhengguo listened to Qin Wanru, his eyes widening as he gasped, meet the father-in-law. We've barely started living together. Isn't this way too fast? It's not right. Meanwhile, you just kept eating nonchalantly. You had already figured it all out. No matter how old a man gets, meeting his father-in-law for the first time is nerve-wracking. After all, you've stolen away the precious daughter they raised, without facing a few trials. How could they possibly accept you? Thinking of this, you actually felt a bit lucky. At least you didn't have to face that ordeal. Beside you, Lu Zhengguo was still trying to postpone the dreaded meeting. Qin Wanru just rolled her eyes at him. My dad actually wants to see Jiaping, she says, speechless. He's not asking for you. Why are you getting so worked up? Hearing this, you freeze on the spot. Lu Zhengguo is stunned too. Once he finally snaps out of it, he clears his throat and pats your shoulder reassuringly. Son, he says with deep earnestness, your grandfather wants to meet you. You absolutely have to go. Go make a great first impression. After all, you have a fraction of my youthful charm. Go on, I believe in you. In your head, you roll your eyes at his instant pivot. Talk about a masterclass in shifting gears. But helpless as you feel, he is still your elder. Blowing off a first invitation would just be incredibly rude. So, you reluctantly give in. Once dinner wraps up, Qin Wanru gets behind the wheel herself, driving you off toward their estate. Steering down the road, she starts talking. Your grandfather was a businessman in his youth, she says. He made his fortune during chaotic times. Before retiring into quiet seclusion, he left the entire family estate to me. After all, I'm his only daughter. As for your two uncles, they passed away before my mother even had me. Cruising down the highway toward the villa, Qin Wanru glances over at your tense posture. She smiles. So, Jiaping, how far along are things with you and Jingjing? Have you two crossed that line yet? You almost choke on your own spit, coughing violently a couple of times. And Qin, you manage awkwardly. What are you even saying? We haven't done anything like that. We're just normal friends like siblings. Oh, no need to play innocent with me. She smirks, highly amused. I know my daughter. She barely even spared me a word before. Ever since you showed up, Her personality has become much more cheerful. So, are you two actually together or not? No, not at all. You quickly wave your hands. We only made things official recently. Then do you know why the old man specifically demanded to see you this time? Chin Wonru asks. Seeing you shake your head, she explains, Su Hongyuan, that guy, saw you taking Jingjing to the airport. He probably guessed something, and secretly called the old man. The old man has always doted on Jingjing the most. Once he found out you two are together, he insisted on having you come over. He probably wants to test you. You had better prepare yourself. Even I can't guess what's on his mind. You nod thoughtfully. After driving another 10 kilometers, the car leaves the bustling city behind. Soon, you arrive in front of a massive estate. The estate is surrounded by high walls, with security guards patrolling the entrance. Recognizing Chin Wonru's Maybach, two guards quickly jog over, pushing open the heavy iron gates. As the gates open, all the guards bow in unison. This grand display makes you marvel at the power of wealth. Once the Maybach enters the estate, it drives for another 2 minutes, before stopping in front of a 2-story villa. Hearing the noise, Qin Huaishan steps out of the villa. Though he is already in his 70s, his back is still perfectly straight. Dressed in a plain linen suit, his sharp gaze lands on you. His voice is strong and forceful. So, you're the kid dating Jingjing. Come over here and kneel for half an hour first. This imposing display immediately intimidates you. Chin Wonru steps down from the car. She sighed, Dad, this habit of yours of scaring everyone, when are you ever going to drop it? He just shook his head, and began leading you inside the grand villa. Entering the living room, Chin Huaishan cornered you immediately, growling under his breath, Listen, kid, you are finished. Just then, Chin Wonru gave her stubborn father a sharp, helpless glare. If you end up scaring Xiaotong away, watch out, because Jingjing will settle the score with you. As if she would actually care about this little punk, more than her own doting grandfather, more than me. Chin Wonru shook her head in exasperation, leading you deeper into the house. Hello, Grandpa Chin, you politely called out before following her inside. Once inside the living room, you settled down onto the sofa, while Chin Wonru went to the kitchen to boil water. Chin Huaishan seized the moment to march right up to you. He snorted coldly, Kid, you want to take Jingjing away? You will have to get past me first. Otherwise, absolutely nobody can help you. Hearing this, you cautiously spoke up to remind him, Grandpa Chin, my dad and Aunt Chin are actually getting married soon. And since my own grandparents passed away long ago, even if Jingjing and I do get married, we would still spend all our holidays right here with you. Chin Huaishan blinked in shock. Mulling it over, he realized that your words made perfect sense. But he stubbornly refused to yield. Don't you dare try talking your way out of this. An old-timer like me never got much schooling, so I can't out you clever young folks. But here is the deal. If you want my blessing to be with Jingjing, you must survive a full day in my bear sanctuary. With a smug, self-satisfied tone, he added, And don't say I didn't warn you first. There are 2 fully grown black bears roaming inside, and both of them have already tasted blood. If you can actually survive 24 hours in there, it will prove your feelings for her are real. But if you are already shaking with fear, turn around and run right back where you came from. Chin Huaishan looked smug, completely sure of his victory. Normal people would shake with fear just looking at a bear, let alone sharing the same woods with one, for a whole day. But you just nod calmly, sure, you say. You said it yourself, remember. No backing out now. My word is absolute. The old man growls. Follow me. Chin Huaishan lets out a cold snort. Hands behind his back, he heads toward the villa's back door. You keep pace right behind him. The entire estate is massive. It is almost every luxury amenity imaginable. A dense forest the size of a soccer field takes up 1/3 of the entire property. It is sealed off by high steel fences. The faint, low growl of a bear echoes from inside. To keep the peace, a dozen guards with stun batons watch the entrance. Chin Huaishan leads you to the iron gate. Right then, a deafening roar echoes from deep inside the woods. He smirks, turning to you, Well, kid, it is not too late to back out. My bears are much bigger than wild ones. With just one swipe, they could toss you 10 yards away. Your face remains completely calm. Replying with ease, you say, I have always loved cute little animals. Chin Huaishan is left speechless. He grumbles internally, thinking you are just showing off. He walks over to a nearby guard booth. He grabs an emergency radio and tosses it your way. Open the gate and let him in, he orders the guards. Then he turns to you. If you can't take it, just use that to call for help. But if you get eaten trying to act tough, do not blame me for not warning you. The guards swing the iron gate open. Beyond it lies a dark, silent forest. Overgrown weeds give off an eerie, chilling vibe. You shove the radio into your pocket and stride right in. Your figure quickly vanishes into the dense trees. Just then, Chin Wonru, who had been watching silently from behind, finally stepped forward and came to a stop beside Chin Huaishan. Staring at the closed iron gate, she asked worriedly, Dad, don't you think this is a bit too much? What if something terrible goes wrong and Xiaopeng gets hurt? Qin Huaishan walked into the pavilion and poured some hot tea, calmly replying, "What could possibly go wrong? I have raised those two black bears since they were born, feeding them the best food for 5 whole years. Their temperaments are much gentler than normal wild bears. As long as that kid does not provoke them, he will be fine." Qin Wanru let out a soft, heavy sigh. Sitting down beside him, still filled with deep worrying, Qin Huaishan felt a sudden wave of jealousy. He grumbled, "What is so great about that kid anyway? How did he make Jingjing fall so hard for him? And now, even you are worrying so much about him? You have only known him for a few days, Dad. I am actually worried about you. If Jingjing ever finds out that you treated Xiaopeng like this, she is definitely going to throw a massive fit. I am her own grandfather. I refuse to believe that this kid is more important to her than I am." At the exact same time, deep inside that fenced-off forest, bright sunlight filtered through the dense green leaves, casting scattered patches of light on the ground. Once your eyes adjust, you realize you have reached the heart of the woods. The soil beneath your feet feels incredibly soft. You look completely relaxed on the outside, but your mind is on high alert. The surrounding trees are much thicker than normal ones, lush and heavy with green leaves, but that is not what catches your eye. Instead, you notice something on the thick trunks. Deep, jagged claw marks scarred into the bark, left behind by massive paws. The old man was not lying. There really are bears living in here, just as you. Stay on guard and try to find a place to hide. The ground beneath you begins to vibrate slightly, and a rustling sound echoes from right behind you. You freeze, swallow hard, and slowly turn around. Right where you walked just moments ago. Out of nowhere, stands a black bear, nearly as tall as you. Its pitch black fur covers a massive frame packed with explosive power. The bear locks its eyes on you, shifting slightly. Its snout twitches as it sniffs the air. You know for a fact you cannot run. Bolting will only make the beast see you as prey, and trigger its primal urge to attack. Right now, your priority is keeping it calm, then finding a way to slip away and hide. But as your mind frantically searches for a plan, more rustling comes from right behind you. Another black bear, even taller, silently emerges, completely blocking your only escape. Two massive predators, radiating pure terror, now have you trapped right between them, giving you absolutely no time to react. They bare their razor-sharp teeth, and lunge straight at you with lethal intent. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Su Jingyao slept straight through until noon. He blinked, his eyes open in the dim room. Clutched in his arms was a pink panda plushie. His coat sat neatly folded on a nearby chair. After washing up, he stepped out of his room. He pushed open your bedroom door next door, only to find it completely empty. The bed was made, neat and tidy. That little brat woke up and didn't even tell me. Su Jingyao shut the door and headed downstairs. Lu Zhengguo was sitting on the sofa, peeling garlic while watching TV, looking like a natural house husband. Seeing him come down, he smiled. "You're awake. There is some fresh pork porridge in the pot. Warm it up before you eat." Su Jingyao walked toward the kitchen. "Where is Xiaopeng? He and Lanlan left for your grandpa's early this morning. Apparently, your grandpa wanted to see him." Hearing those words, Su Jingyao froze. "Grandpa wants to see him? Did Grandpa find out about my relationship with him?" With her fiery temper, she couldn't sit still. She spun around and stormed out the door. "I'm going over there," she threw back without looking. Lu Zhengguo scratched his head, utterly confused by her sudden rush. Was the old man really going to eat him? Stepping outside, Su Jingyao hopped into her Rolls-Royce and sped toward the outskirts. Midday traffic was heavy, but even so, a drive that usually took 40 minutes took her just over 20 minutes. In the pavilion outside the bear forest, Qin Huaishan was leisurely sipping tea, playing a game of Gomoku with Qin Wanru. Just then, Su Jingyao appeared in the distance. Qin Huaishan stood up in delight, beaming like a playful child. "Jingjing, what brings you here? Did you miss your grandfather? Where is Lu Chen?" she demanded. Su Jingyao cut him off, her voice icy. Well, Qin Huaishan began to stammer, losing all of his usual imposing bravado. Finally, Qin Wanru chimed in from the side. "Your grandfather chased him into the bear forest. He has to survive there a whole day. Only then can he be with you. I tried to stop him, but he wouldn't listen." The bear forest. Su Jingyao's eyes widened in horror, her face turning incredibly dark. Having grown up in this manner, she knew that forest all too well. The two black bears might be gentle with the kins, but they certainly wouldn't spare an outsider. Seeing her furious expression, Qin Huaishan knew he had pushed it too far. He quickly snapped at his bodyguard. "Hurry! Use the radio to call the kid back." The bodyguard complied immediately, pressing the call button repeatedly, but there was no response. A tense silence stretched on. He stammered in a panic. "Sir, we can't reach him. Maybe his radio is broken." "What?" Qin Huaishan gasped. His voice trembled slightly. "These radios are all decommissioned military-grade gear. They are top quality. Even in a signal-free desert, they still transmit short messages. Losing contact usually means only two possibilities. Either out of range, or the radio is broken. And right now, it's clearly the latter. Xiaopeng is in trouble." The thought drained all color from Su Jinya's face. Without a second thought, she bolted from the pavilion toward the bare woods. Please, you have to be okay. What are you standing there for? Go find him, now, and get Dr. Wong over here, just in case. After Qin Huaishan barked orders to the bodyguards, he quickly followed behind. Regret ate at him. I only wanted to scare you, never expecting a real accident to happen. If anything bad happens to you, Jingjing will hate her grandfather to death. Soon, over a dozen bodyguards with tranquilizer guns swept in. The woods weren't large. Su Jinya, leading the charge, soon reached the central area. She screamed Lu Chen in every direction as she ran. Where are you? Then, mid-stride, she caught a sound. She stopped, listening very closely, pinpointing the direction. She headed straight towards some distant bushes. Slowly, the sound of rushing water reached her ears. Parting the branches, a stream appeared before her. On the bank, two huge black bears were sunbathing. A lone figure was lounging right on their bellies. Sensing the commotion, you turned your head. Spotting Su Jinya, you asked, why are you here? The two black bears grew incredibly excited seeing Su Jinya. They immediately scrambled up, circling him like eager little pugs, letting out happy, low rumbles. By comparison, you had it rough, tumbling straight into the creek, soaking wet. Before you could even react, a warm body slammed right into your arms. Su Jinya held you in a tight grip, her tearful voice trembling in your ear. You absolute idiot. Do you know how worried I was? Don't you dare run off again. This time, she was genuinely terrified. Thank goodness you're okay. Otherwise, she wouldn't have known what to do. Though you didn't know why she was so heartbroken, you still held her gently and whispered comfort. I'm right here. The search party of bodyguards watched you to embrace. Exchanging awkward glances, they tactfully turned and walked away. After a long moment, Su Jinya finally wiped her tears. Letting you go? Why on earth is your communicator broken? Explain yourself. Helplessly, you shrug, pointing to the scraps on shore. Pouting, you muttered, carrying those two giants broke it. I wanted to try fixing it, but it's completely trashed now. Can't even piece it back together. The two of you stepped ashore, as Su Jinya sternly ordered the black bears. Shong Do, Shonga, get over here and kneel down. Hearing those names, your expression turned strange. Were these two actually from Boonie Bears? The second she finished speaking, the bears knelt obediently like kids caught doing wrong, even blinking in a surprisingly human way, looking utterly pitiful and incredibly aggrieved. Su Jinya looked back at you, scanning you up and down, before finally speaking. These two don't normally get close to strangers. It must be my scent on your clothes. They're only close with you, because Shong Da and Shong were your childhood playmates, so they're incredibly sensitive to your scent. You two better behave yourselves, and I'll deal with you later. After warning the two bears, Su Jinya takes you, completely soaked, and leads you out of the forest. 10 minutes later, you both exit the bear forest. Qin Huaishan, having heard the news, sees you emerge. He turns his head away, muttering, you got lucky, kid. Su Jinya speaks up, Grandpa, don't you have anything to say to him? Qin Huaishan hesitates for a long moment, before finally muttering, fine, I'm sorry, all right. Little Jingjing, don't be mad at Grandpa. Besides, isn't he perfectly fine? Standing nearby, Qin Wanru chuckles softly. In this household, I guess only Jingjing can keep the old man in line. Later, Su Jinya brings you back to the villa, finds a set of clean clothes for you, and shoves you into the bathroom, before heading upstairs to shower herself. When you step out after your shower, you see several bodyguards, busy loading wooden crates and beautifully wrapped gift boxes into Su Jinya's car. By the door, Qin Huaishan looks absolutely devastated. Those are the fine wines and premium teas he hoarded for years, too precious to drink. Now, they're all gone. Qin Wanru pats her aging father's shoulder and sighs. I told you not to mess with Zipeng, but you just wouldn't listen. In Jingjing's eyes, her boyfriend is far more important than her grandfather. After all the drama, lunchtime has finally arrived. The estate chef prepares a massive feast, tasting every bit as good as a 5-star restaurant. After lunch, Su Jinya takes you walking with the bears around the estate, trying out every single activity. She's just like a happy, carefree girl, sharing absolutely everything you love, completely and without reservation, with a truly real person. The day flies by while you are both fooling around. By evening, the private chef sets up an outdoor barbecue. You enjoy delicious food while taking in the night view, and pulls Su Jinya away for a private chat. Qin Huaishan grabs a cold bottle of beer, walks over to the lawn beside you, sits, and chugs a massive gulp, before starting to talk about the past. It turns out that Su Hongyuan and Qin Wanru got together, entirely because he, the father, played matchmaker all along. He had seen immense, long-term potential in Su Hongyuan, along with his balanced, stable personality, so he always supported him to become the family's son-in-law. Time proved his sharp instincts were completely spot on. Su Hongyuan indeed went on to become a highly successful domestic entrepreneur, running a massive, highly profitable multinational trading conglomerate. Yet, he was never really a good father. For all these years, Qin Huaishan has felt deeply guilty, believing that it was entirely his fault, that Su Jingyao had to endure such a miserable childhood. That's why, when he first learned you were Jingjing's boyfriend, he was so incredibly harsh and strict with you, fearing history would repeat itself. Hearing all this, you felt Su Jingyao's painful childhood struggles even more deeply, although you already knew her childhood had been incredibly rough. Hearing it straight from her grandfather's mouth still made your heart ache. With a serious face, you made a solemn promise to Grandpa Qin. You told him you would absolutely protect and cherish Jingjing, and never let anyone mistreat her ever again. She is the one he and Aunt Qin cherish the most, and she is also the most important person in your heart. As long as you still have a single breath left, you will never let her suffer any grievance. Qin Huaishan's gaze turned incredibly deep, staring intently into your unwavering, resolute eyes. After a while, he patted your shoulder and told you to stop calling him Grandpa Qin. It just sounds way too distant. He told you to call him Grandpa from now on, just like Jingjing.